It's fine. I know, because the starting soon stuff, it's like I could still hear you gulp that whole time. All I heard was
I was trying to do a little ASMR or something, if anyone's in here this early.
Okay.
Am I being pranked? What's going on here? What are we waiting for?
Jump scare.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 389th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am the unshaven Travis Snell.
Ooh, I am all unshaven. Kirklin Patzer. Got a little goatee going.
Equally unshaven Adam Hartcaster, Dylan Muss.
Fanboy Clay says that was great. Yeah, Taylor's not here, so you can see it's a little unsmoother of a ship because he usually runs all this. But no, Dylan, the reason I was waiting because I was waiting for the live notification to pop up, so that's why I wanted to. And then we'll get music and everything like that. But speaking of Taylor, I have to bring up something. So with StreamYards, usually what we do is we set this up, and then you can go in there and edit everything like that. So clearly he went in here earlier while he was going off to his hike with Madison, and he dropped something. I'm gonna see if I can find. He just when I open up StreamYards, it was just on this photo right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
I see a belly button, some pelvis.
Well, I can't. Because he made the background. He screwed up. I don't know. It's a porn meme. So when I opened it up, it was just right there. So if you go to my Twitter.
Yeah. I feel like 3 years ago, Taylor never would have used a porn meme in his life, but I feel like the last year or so, he's really been developing that. So I wonder what has changed in his personal life there.
He drops a lot of porn memes. A lot of porn memes.
We don't even have a cool background. We just got this darkness going on. I'll throw up the.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Like Harley Quinn now. I like it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, throw out the Barney colors. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is the GeekVerse newscast. Lots of good stuff going on right now. Head over to Patreon. Early exclusive ad-free episodes. You guys are doing the Potto Retro right now. That's not coming out till a year, but you guys got all of them down except for you got Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, right? The next 2 weeks recording. So you guys are finishing that off. And no Fantastic Beasts. You can go back in the feeds and find those terrible movies somewhere else. But yeah, you got that going on. You have some early stuff. Me and Kirklin and Taylor just did comic versions. We just did Loki Journey into Mystery. So yeah, that's some good stuff there. So lots of good things going on over there. Go down to the description below, and that's where you can find everything we're doing, your video feeds, your audio feeds, where we're playing video games. Kirklin, is there actually a Twitch stream this Sunday? Army of the Dead's happening. Yeah.
Yes. So we have Army of the Dead happening. I have to give out a big apology to anyone that was tuning in ready to go for 12 o'clock on Sunday. I definitely had some unexpected busy plans that popped in, so unfortunately I had to push it. I didn't even give a notice or anything, so that's definitely my bad. But I will make it up to you.
Where are you at?
Yeah, he's always keep me accountable, but I promise you, next time I go live, if I'm not with the homies, I'll be on Resident Evil. So I'll subject myself to some pain since I missed that last stream. But so big apology there, but we will probably not be doing a stream this week because of Army of Dead and long weekend. So
you follow Kirklin on Twitter, and he'll probably post about when he goes live. So that's
exactly
the strat right there.
It's just assume I'm not going live until you get that tweet, because I always tweet when I'm going live. So there you go.
Well, there you go. And to make up for it in a kind of fun way, June 5th, we're going to be doing something. We've done this a few times as far as with Extra Life and Black Lives Matter. We'll officially announce it here that we are doing a charity stream for the Palestine Children Relief Foundation. And there's going to be links by time, not right now, but when you listen to this, for the podcast feed, all will be down there, our fundraiser, everything like that. And June 5th, we are going to be going, I don't know the exact time, but it's going to be like a 12 to 14 hour stream. And this is a cause that strictly is just helping kids who have lost their homes, lost family members, lost unfortunately like limbs and severely injured. So this is obviously we like to help where we can. And I'm going to do an episode just announcing the schedule and why we chose this. But this was something we talked about and wanted to do. So as far as your missed hours there, you'll make up on it a little bit there because we're going to be going at least 14 hours. We have a fun schedule planned, so we're going to be releasing that soon. But yeah, we just want to do something because obviously these kids are just caught in a middle of situation has nothing to do with them, and there's lots of stuff going on there. And yeah, it's only a little bit, but everything helps. So we thank you in advance of anybody. We always say this too, especially because COVID. We know lots of people might not be working, might not be having the same income. Come June 5th, please join. We're gonna have tons of fun. We're gonna have guests and everything like that. But just even sharing the Facebook post or retweeting stuff like that, we'd be grateful. So June 5th, we're doing that. And I can actually announce this because Kirklin, I checked the schedule, a while back while I was planning this, and it has been a total of 2 years since you've defended your sports title because of certain people moving and this and that. So I'm not going to say who your opponent is yet, but June 5th, Kirklin Patzer will be defending his sports title. We're going to be doing this virtual, so we're going to be looking at games. So that's why earlier, Kirklin, when I said, hey, you're going to be getting Games Pass for June, that's why, because you will be defending your title. Opponent TBA, but yes, you are going to be doing that because it's been a long time because it was always like, oh, someone couldn't make it or the team titles, this and that. Obviously, Gauntlet got delayed a bunch because COVID. So yeah, you're going to defend that title, big boy. So
I'm excited. I know I've been just getting bored. I'm getting like butt sores up on my throne. The crown is hurting my neck just wearing it for 2 years basically. No, I'm ready for a challenge.
Yeah. So
I figured it was something along the lines when you just gave me the mystery. I'm like, okay, this is definitely related to my belt or something.
Yeah, we're going to be doing trivia. We're going to be playing actual video games. We're going to do commentary tracks. So tons of fun stuff there. So yeah, this is a newscast. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start with some gaming news because we have the man, myth, the legend here, Mr. Bethesda himself, Dylan Musk. So this is something we talked about. I went back and listened to our cast. We first got this news, which is crazy, September 21st. I'm not sure if that's when it broke, but we did the cast, Dylan, Taylor, and myself, September 20th, 2020 of Xbox buying Bethesda. And I went back because obviously we talked a lot about many things, but we talked about, okay, what's going to happen with these exclusive titles. Now, as of right now, none of this is official. It's not like, it's all heavily rumored, but it's rumored by multiple people. So I'm going to start off with you, Dylan, as far as the rumor being that as of right now, Starfield is said to be an Xbox exclusive. Now, I want to throw this out to you because there's kind of two things. Like, there's two big scoopers in the game industry that have thrown out these things. And like, if you don't know them, there's Jeff Grubb and then there's Jason Schreier. Jeff Grubb says it's Q1 2022. Oh my God, we're already in 2022 next year. Jesus, next year Q1. And then Jason Schreier said it won't be till late 2022. So one, what do you think about the possibility of it just being full exclusive? But two, what do you think as the dates as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've always kind of kept up on my Bethesda stuff, but I feel like Starfield has so many more leaks than the Fallout 4s of the world, or I mean, Skyrim. I don't know how much I was really paying attention to the leaks and stuff at the time, but I feel like Starfield, like not just these dates and the exclusivity, but there's also just been tons of gameplay stuff. There's been images and stuff leaked, which I feel like is pretty un-Bethesda-like. So that's kind of interesting why that's happening. I'm curious. You listened to our cast, or did you just listen to part of it? Because I'm curious at the time what I said about exclusivity, because I feel like I was probably just on the fence because I don't know. I could see it going either way.
We were all on the fence. The only like, not to throw him under the bus, the only person that wasn't on the fence was Taylor, and he said no, they're not going to be exclusive. You and me were like, we talked about like we could see three things happening: that it stays the same, either they make the big game exclusive or they make the little games exclusive. You and me were very much like we could see it kind of going either way. Taylor was he thought because the money they could make with Sony that they would stay the course and have it all over. You and me were kind of, we kind of had our foot in both puddles as far as like, yeah, that makes sense, but at the same time, like, why would they do this? So we were kind of back and forth on it.
Yeah, it's man, there's so much to it. Like, you guys on your cast, I think it was a week or two ago, the one that I was in chat, you were talking about the sales of the consoles. And one thing that we know about Starfield, I mean, Todd Howard said this, it could not be the case, but like Starfield is going to be only on next gen consoles, or I guess in this case, like Xbox Series X only. And I mean, based on the numbers that you had, like on that cast, that's just not a lot of consoles out there for people to be picking this up. And I mean, obviously, like Microsoft has had that statement that all of their games are going to be on Xbox One X for a while, but obviously that was before the Bethesda, before they acquired Bethesda, so that kind of changes things there. Exclusivity wise, I really don't know what they do. I mean, I just feel like that's so few people that are going to have it if it is early on. If it's not till Q4 of 2022, then that maybe makes a bit more sense. I don't know how valuable this is with Bethesda getting acquired, but from my memory, all of their games, all of the Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Skyrim, it's hard to remember before that, but all their games come out like November 10th ish. Like they always release in that same window.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Q4. I was been thinking it's probably going to be this year Q4 around that November slot, but maybe it is another year. If it's ready before that, I don't think they'd sit on it just to get that day.
Hit the November,
yeah, especially with Microsoft. Like,
Yeah.
no, you need to get this out. We need some games on our console.
Yeah, we saw it happen with Halo. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I was looking into some articles and stuff earlier today just to see like what the word is with the release date, and yeah, it's just like all over the place, people saying different things. So I don't really know what to think there. I do think we will see it at E3, like almost certainly. I think that is.
Oh yeah.
Like, what else would Bethesda Game Studios show? Like, they wouldn't really show anything. Like, I guess a Fallout 76 trailer for some new DLC there, but I don't think Microsoft really wants that as like, oh, check out this big game we got. So I think we'll see it there at least.
Do they show? Because I've heard people talk about this. Do they show Deathloop there, even though it's not coming to Xbox? It's tough, right? Because they want to promote the game, but it's like it's literally promoting the competition. Like eventually, I'm sure Deathloop will come to Xbox, but it's literally like, hey, you want to play this great game? Go get a PlayStation 5, or PlayStation 4.
I'm so curious to see the exclusivity window on that game. That's going to be so weird. But yeah, I mean, I could see it being there. I don't know. I feel like Microsoft is going to have so much though. Maybe they just pass on the Deathloop. I feel like Deathloop's already had like 100 million trailers, and maybe they. But I mean, I guess timeline wise, it makes sense. It would be a couple months before the game actually comes out. But I'll predict no for now, but we'll see it maybe somewhere else. With one of Jeff Keighley's things. But.
Summer Game Fest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fanboy Clay says, I think as a default, every game starting last year has been pushed back at least a year due to the backlash of Cyberpunk. I think that has a lot to do with it because perception is reality. And I think like Cyberpunk, like that just took such a huge blow. And it's so funny when we started this podcast to go from like where CD Projekt Red was as far as like respect in the industry to where they are now. This is why, and like I'm sure they have no problems, but to me, this is why like every time some people are like, where's GTA 6? That's why someone like Rockstar, they saw like you could become the joke, the meme very quickly. They will sit on that game until they will sit on GTA 6 till it is pristine, like ready to go. They're gonna take their sweet time because they know all of us are gonna buy it. No one's gonna be like, oh, I gotta wait 2 more years. So I think that definitely scared some people, but you also got COVID factor too. You got lots of things in games in general though, like even before Cyberpunk, like Last of Us came out before Cyberpunk, and how many delays that get, right? So it's kind of just like a nature of a beast now with gaming nowadays because there's just so much that goes into it. They don't want to put an unpolished game. I
will say that maybe it's a bit different case here. Like Bethesda games have always been known to be like very buggy when they come out, but now they like if it is exclusive there and it is only next gen, then that's a good sign in a way that it's going to be released on the Xbox Series X and I guess S and PC. So there's only like 2.5, like I guess you could say 3 versions, whereas Cyberpunk released on everything except for Switch, right? Like that's a lot. That's a lot of places to release that game. Obviously, there's 100 other issues with it, but I
would love to see it on Switch. How it ran there.
A game on that many. I'm not defending them. They shouldn't have done that. Obviously,
yeah.
It's still not on. You can't buy it on PlayStation Store yet. They haven't put it back up.
Really?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, I have it on mine. If you want to buy my PS4, it's like the new PT. But I don't think it's on the store yet because it's still not fixed. So I don't know if Sony will ever fuck around with that. Maybe like 3 years from now. Or something.
I didn't know. Yeah. So can you buy? You can buy physical copies, I imagine, right? Yeah. For PlayStation. Yeah, just not on the store. That's
I don't know
crazy.
If they would be restocking them. Like I don't know if you'd have to find one that was already out there, or if Amazon had 1 million copies just in their warehouse because it would have sold that many. I don't know.
Right.
I still can't believe that's a thing. I can't believe it's not up there.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Yeah.
I feel like I just like I just wasn't thinking about it. And then like I've been on the PlayStation Store. It's just like I never thought of being like, oh, where's
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, you know?
And I mean, I enjoyed my time with it. It was very buggy and had a lot of issues, but I still like it was still playable on my
Yeah.
base PS4. But it's like I'm not gonna go back to it until like I've been watching I checked the patch notes to see where they're at, and it feels like nothing's been done. Like like they did like
Oof.
one major patch, but they promised like 4 by now, and I don't know. It's
Mm.
definitely a total mess. I wonder if they're even gonna care about the PlayStation version at this point. If they're not gonna get any money for it, why would you fix it? I guess.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. And like just like the in-house drama that like I've just heard through the grapevine and here and there. It's
Well, and
pretty
especially
interesting.
like the last point on this, because like it's a little off topic, but I had heard, I think it was maybe a month ago now, that the guy who was the main director on Witcher 3 stepped down. So it's like, well, that doesn't get me any excited for like the next
Yeah.
Witcher now. You know, it's just like I guess Cyberpunk I'll
Yeah.
definitely play, but I'm waiting. That's a prime Games Pass game for me. Like when that's gonna go on there,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to play it. But Kirklin, where are you on all this? So let's just say it's another room. Let's just say Starfield is exclusive. Obviously, you have a PC, so you're kind of covered there. But what do you think about it as Xbox making this move, throwing the gauntlet down, being like, you know what, PlayStation, sorry, you're not getting it.
I mean, I 100% agree with what Dylan said, how like just when you look at the numbers alone, like if you're just in the business of making money and you're looking at those Xbox sales numbers and like those are for like not counting PC, like that's your only console that you're gonna sell like this huge game that you're expecting to make you tons of money. There's already so much hype around it, you know. And it like from me being on the sidelines, it just doesn't make sense to me. I probably was always gonna get it on PC, but I don't know.
Now you have to.
Yeah, now I have to, I guess. But I feel like
I mean,
also
they'll guarantee that you sign up for Game Pass, right? And along with
Yeah.
everyone else who has a PC that's like, you know, maybe even close to being able to play it. It's like, well, it's
Yeah.
only $10. I might as well hop on there for month.
Do you
no,
think
exactly.
do you think they still keep that? Like I know they said that before, but like this is a whole different ballgame. Like I think they will, but I could still see them walking it back, being like, well, this is
Well-
Bethesda, and this was before, and especially if it's like, I don't know, like if it
You mean like if it's gonna go on Game Pass? You don't think that they would?
day one. That's my
Oh,
thing.
they definitely 100%. That's
think
like their
so?
their whole plan. Like they need that.
They're just not making money off Game Pass. Like that's the thing that came out last month. So it's just like I don't know.
But maybe with Starfield they will. I don't know how many
Yeah.
people like that. Like that Bethesda, you know, getting acquired is a big reason why I just bought a Series X last
Mhm.
week. You know, I like it is a big deal, and there's a lot of people like me, but also a lot of people on PC that'll just grab that subscription for that game. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting tactic, but I mean, if you're going to be throwing around like $8 billion to get all these studios, like it's so hard to say. We don't know the financials of like Game Pass, and a lot of this stuff is just kind of behind the scenes. But
So
Yeah.
I want to say counter quickly because Kirkland, you brought up some, but like you don't see how they could make money. I think my only thing is thinking is why this could be a positive is they could make a lot of money in the short term with PlayStation and everywhere else. But I guess maybe their hope is you cut off PlayStation, you lose a lot of money on this, you lose a lot of money on Elder Scrolls, which we'll talk about too. But like I guess the hope is that okay, you lose money on the short term, but in the long term, it makes people go and buy an Xbox to get this game. And if you get people with an Xbox, you get more controllers in the hand. You get more people buying Game Pass. You get more people buying the other games. So that's what I think the idea is like, yeah, we're going to really eat it right now. But if Starfield is great and people buy an Xbox, and I saw tons of that. I saw lots of people being like, I guess I got to get an Xbox now. And if anyone's complaining, it's just like, I'm all for this because to me, it is like you bought it was 8 billion. Like I've always said, like you can't not think about making it exclusive. You got to get your investment back. So I guess that's the route I talk like when we're talking about consoles. Maybe this is the reverse as far as like, yeah, they are low. So this could get people buying these consoles because, hey, if they don't have a PC and they're more of a console person, well, if I like Bethesda, I have to get an Xbox. Now, where before, sure, they can make all that money off Sony, but like that's where I think that, yeah, like I said, short term, it might hurt, but I think in the long term, it could pay off as long as Starfield comes out and is good. I think it will, but I think that's their intent is let's boost up just Xbox in general.
And another thing I'll say for Starfield being on Game Pass, you know, they just want to get everyone's hands. One thing Bethesda always does with their games is like a bunch of DLC. Like with Fallout 4, they had like 2 substantial ones, and then like I don't know, maybe 2 to somewhere between 2 or 3 or 4 like other smaller ones as well. And then I mean Fallout 76 is kind of a different beast, but it still was like an $80 game that had a shit ton of microtransactions. So I mean I wouldn't necessarily want them to go that route, of course, but if you put the game on there for the subscription, but then it gets people coming back, and then also Game Pass, for the most part, as far as I'm aware, even like games like Outer Worlds, which is a first party studio, you have to buy that DLC. Even if you have Game Pass and the game's on there, you got to buy that DLC extra. And so they can probably get a lot of money that way as well on Starfield. Like Kirklin, I'm sure you've played every Skyrim DLC, and it's like,
yeah, exactly.
like they're worth it. Like they make really substantial good DLCs that have a lot of like different content that stretches pretty far from the main game. It's not just like tacked on stuff for the most part. I'm not going to defend 76, but
is all those DLCs mostly paid for?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like the Fallout 4 ones were, I think the Seasons Pass was like a $40 thing if you got it all together. But yeah.
So do you think they still do that with Games Pass? Like, okay, you get Starfield day one, but you want this DLC, that's an additional $40.
Like I said, that's what they did with Outer Worlds, and I don't know the other game since I don't have my Xbox yet. I'll find out soon enough, I guess. But I'm guessing that a lot of DLC you still have to pay extra for. I'm not sure though. I would have to. And that might be different because Outer Worlds was made before they got acquired, and I don't know. It's kind of murky there.
Do you know? Like, I know if you have Games Pass, you want to actually like acquire the game. Like, you get like a little discount there. Does that work the same way for DLCs? Do you know?
Like PS Plus kind of thing, where you get a discount if you're signed up for it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because with Games Pass, like they have their games library that it's kind of like Netflix. They'll cycle them in and out every once in a while. But I know if you want to buy the game, it's like a discount because you have a Games Pass subscription. Does that work for DLCs?
I think if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can get some discounts on stuff. But I don't know if it's just across the board. Like any game that's on Game Pass, you can get a discount on. I don't know how that would work. Exactly.
Okay, I didn't know there's like different tiers. Yeah.
Well, why would you? Like, you're not going to be buying many games. Like I might still buy Starfield, but maybe I won't. I mean, if I have a Series X, what would be the point if I already have Game Pass? So.
As long as you can get it on Games Pass and beat it quick enough, you know.
Especially because it's not gonna be one of those games that gets cycled out. It'll always be on there.
They have Starfield on there, and then like a week later, it's like, it's going off. Make sure to buy it.
$80.
It's a little like week-long demo.
Like 200. Oh man.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, wouldn't that be just a wild move if they're like, okay, you can get it on PlayStation, but it's $250.
Well, I mean, what if they just do it timed exclusive?
Like, I was thinking about that. Yeah,
like a year out, you can play it on PlayStation, so they can get those sales down the line. And still, I mean, people would still buy that a year later. I think Bethesda, even though they had 76, like they're still big enough that they're the kind of studio where people. I mean, they don't want to wait necessarily, but if they have to, they still will buy it later on.
Well, look, I don't know where, but look at Days Gone. It went live on PC, and I can't remember where, but it was like #1 on like one of the bigger pieces, and it was just like, this is fucking Days Gone. It's been out for like a year and a half, but it's like there will be people that won't, whether I don't really care about the Xbox, or honestly, like not everyone can buy PS5 if they can find, and then also go, I'm gonna buy a Series X and be like, okay, like that's over $1,000, that's $1,000 right there. So it's like there's somebody that's just like, I'm not gonna do it to play one game. I really want to. I know lots of people are saying, well, I hope in PlayStation then maybe they do that as far as like exclusive down the line, like they get somebody to fill in the void for Bethesda. But I think timed is very likely. I think timed will happen. I could see it being longer than a year. I could see them doing almost like Days Gone, where it was like a year and a half, 2 years, but I think it all depends on how it sells. Or like, let's say if Starfield comes out and the reviews are like meh, I could see it coming out sooner. But if it's like GTA or just like it's not selling well, but just like this is the must-play game, this is the game of the year, I think if however well it does reception-wise, that's how longer they push it. And then once it starts to slow down the hype, they go, okay, here, you can have it, Sony. I don't think it's out of the question, but I would still kind of prefer for competition-wise if they didn't do that, just to be like, hey, we want some, because I don't care. Well, yeah, and like Taylor can say, but here's the thing. Last week, he has no idea when Halo's out. Like Halo and Gears are on their way out.
Yeah, that was really weird to me. I mean, I know he's a busy guy right now. He's got wedding stuff, but like, come on, man, that's your baby right there.
Yeah,
I just see like no hype, because like obviously that Halo reveal came out, that kind of killed the hype. But I just feel like there's no anticipation for that game anymore. Like people are leaving it left, right, and center. I feel like Gears is like, it can sell, but it's had its time. Like I feel like these mainstays, it's like, okay, we have to kind of move on. It's kind of like what happened with God of War, where like it was very popular, and then eventually it was like, okay, we've had enough of this in the Sony world. And then they came back, they redid it, like kind of what we hope will happen with Fable. But that's where I feel like Xbox now, even if it's buying Bethesda, even if it's that Indiana Jones game, like you need some new, like these are our IP, these are exclusive games you can only get on Xbox. No time to. I kind of hope they do that because, like I said, I think it just makes PlayStation better. It makes them better because, like, again, there was another report today. I'd have to look. It was Games Radar that put it out, but some analysts said, like, yeah, they're getting outsold like 2-1 right now, and that's like being nice. And it's just like, if they want, like, this was a time where they at one point were beating Sony. You know, like they got to make some moves. And I think keeping Bethesda and these big games exclusive, like, just do it. Rip the Band-Aid. You know?
Yeah, and like it's like just thinking about Starfield release and how people are already like, well, I guess I got to just get an Xbox. I feel like the real like signifier for that of like if people are actually just, you know, like let's say I'm a Sony fanboy my whole life and then I'm just like, I don't think Starfield would be the one that wins me over to Xbox, but I feel like the name Elder Scrolls, like when that game starts coming around and they're like Xbox only, like you can only get it on Xbox, maybe you get it on PC or like, you know, maybe timed release or whatever, like
which
like there's hardcore Elder Scrolls fans that are like, they probably like, I feel like a lot of people know the name Elder Scrolls more than Bethesda, if that makes sense. Like
I know 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I feel like when that comes out and they're like, holy shit, Xbox only. Okay. And again, that'll be in a few years. I'm assuming Xboxes like Xboxes will probably be, I don't know, they'll have different options for purchasing, maybe some cheap options, whatever they might be. But
that's what I was going to ask. So Elder Scrolls, you think if they've done this with Starfield, do you think Elder Scrolls is like a given? If they, let's say that this happens E3 where they come out Starfield exclusive, they don't even talk about time, they just say exclusive to Xbox. Do you think Elder Scrolls is next up?
Yeah, and it's like what you just said, right? Where it's like they just bought a $6 billion company. Like you can't just 8. Oof. Okay, even worse than I thought, or better. I think
it was 8. I'll check. I thought it was double
7.7, or I just kind of rounded.
Yeah,
it was 7 point something. Yeah,
it was almost double than when Disney bought Star Wars. So to put it in perspective, quite a bit of money.
That's jeez. Wow, to put that in perspective, yeah, that is pretty crazy.
But I mean, keep in mind they get like tons of other studios with that, and they get the Doom engine, and there's a lot more that comes with it. But I mean, they still paid a fuck ton of money for it.
A lot of moolah. But like exactly what Travis said. Like when you're dropping that amount of coin on something, like you got to make these plays of like actually just being like, no, if you're on PlayStation your whole life, sucks to suck. If you want Elder Scrolls, you got to go to Xbox.
Yeah, but I mean, they also have the PC entranceway, so I think that's great as well. And then you mentioned like, a cheaper option. Like they already have that too. Like the Series S is like the same price or lower than like a Switch. Like that's a pretty good price for a pretty powerful piece of hardware there.
100%.
But yeah, I think Elder Scrolls, it's going to be a totally different question at that point because we'll be I don't think
we'll be old and gray.
Minimum 4 years, but more likely like 5 or 6. There's going to be a lot more.
5 or 6. Oh my god,
it's going to be a long time, dude. It's going to be a long
time.
So
you don't think we get
hover cars are going to be outside, Travis?
So do we get it before or after 2025? 4 years from now.
It could be
on 2025.
It could be, yeah. I'm still thinking I feel like they'll stick to their November days. I mean, until they do something else, I have no reason to think they wouldn't stick to that day. So, yeah, 2025, 26. I guess they're probably working on it now, but I still don't know how much actually code has even been punched in,
Yeah.
So
I announced it was 2 years ago, right? I think now is it coming?
Yeah,
out
but
2 years?
they weren't making the game then. They just it was entering pre-production, which just means we're gonna start drawing up the map and
on a game that size. Yeah.
I still hate that they did that announcement. I really do, but I'll be bold and say it's on 2025 or before. I don't think it'll go past 2025, barring COVID doesn't get another variant and fuck us all.
I don't know if I'm going to call this a theory, but I think there'll be something in between Starfield and Elder Scrolls, and it will be some sort of half-step game like 76 was with Starfield, like some sort of multiplayer thing. Or they haven't really done this, but I could see there being a remaster for a Morrowind or Oblivion.
He's always hoping. He's always trying to find a way to get that remastered in there.
I mean, I think that could be I don't even think Bethesda has to make it. I think I mean,
100%.
because it could be someone else. Like Xbox can just get one of their studios to, hey, make this Oblivion like remake and soup the graphics up. I don't know how much they want to touch the game, like in terms of the mechanics. That might just get super messy with how old the game is at this point.
Mhm.
But I could see them doing something like that to hold people over, or maybe some other Elder Scrolls spin-off. But yeah, I mean, the main game I think is really, really far away still.
Yeah, as far as the question, I'm with you guys as far as I think if they do this with Starfield, Elder Scrolls will be the same. Unless for some reason if they find like they do the Starfield thing and let's say consoles don't sell, but at the same point, it's like we talked about this with Disney Plus when they're like, oh, we put Mulan on Premier Access and now we're doing Cruella. It's like the real test is Black Widow. Black Widow's the real test. Like, hey, how many people are willing to pay an extra $30 to sit at home and watch a movie? That's your big tier. So even Starfield, it's like that's the test. People love Bethesda, but still, it's not like a name brand. Like Kirklin was saying, Elder Scrolls, that is the full on. Like, if you say if you were to say that's exclusive and that doesn't sell consoles, then I could see them in the future being like, okay, whenever we do next fall, that can go to PlayStation. But I feel like Starfield, it's a test, but like Elder Scrolls is the real like will this, and I think Starfield will still sell consoles because I do think it will at least be a very good. I think it will be a game that people talk about. I don't think they'll let it be disappointing, especially after 76, which was a whole different beast. But I think they'll make it a game that gets Game of the Years, gets talked about, has that you have to play this game. So I think people will be wanting to get that. I think the hype, because I remember when Bethesda is rolling, when they did that Fallout 4, like the reveal, the conference, like they were so slick, and that's when they were getting to that top tier, like, and they still are in the top tier developer. They had a few stumbles here and there, but like when they want to be, can be so smooth and they can get that hype going. And I think they will do that for Starfield. Like that very first trailer, not a stupid, like, look at this ship in the stars. Like that first real trailer we get showing
We're
story.
definitely getting at E3, right? Like, do you guys feel pretty confident on that?
Yeah. I'm confident on that.
We're getting at E3. I don't think we're getting the full trailer. I'm talking about like with Fallout 4 when we got that big reveal, like it's coming in November. I'm talking about like when we get that trailer when we're close to the game coming out. That's when the hype's gonna really start get rolling. I think we'll see.
I think we'll see Todd Howard like talking about the game and telling us things about it. And I don't know if they'll maybe they won't have gameplay, but they'll have like more to show than just like a fucking
cinematic of action. Cinematic of maybe a character or just even like what the general like plot is. You know, like something just like are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you just playing as someone you like? Just anything. I think you will see something, but I think the big like whoa trailer is still far off. I think they'll wait till unless it is Q1 of next year. But even though Jason Schreier I don't love all the things he's about. He's good at being a reporter. And if he says late 2022, I tend to believe him because there's some other people that are putting out that it's early 2022, but his track record is just like a tad better when it comes to scoops and stuff and his reporting. So that's why I do lean like, okay. And he says from his sources that the game still has a ways to go. So it's like, okay, I do lean towards the later. And I think you're right as far as if they like November and they don't feel confident enough that it's going to be pristine this November, then wait till next year or whenever they're ready to go. Because they got Deathloop coming. Hopefully that's going to actually come. We don't know what the status of this Indiana Jones game is. We got that teaser about 6 months ago. We don't know. Was that the same as Elder Scrolls? Was that them just working on it? Or was that them actually being like, hey, like, could that be a fall game? I imagine that'll be at E3. Taylor shared this in the
I think the last game from the studio making that game was Wolfenstein Youngblood, I believe, which came out in 2019. Like it came out a while ago. Okay. So they probably. I mean, I imagine that's what they've been. I don't know if there was DLC for that game. I don't think it did very well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do tons of DLC. But I imagine they've been working on it for an amount of time. But we'll probably still waiting a year or two. I mean, who knows the scope? Maybe it's a short, like 8-hour Uncharted like adventure, and maybe that doesn't take as long. But who knows?
And Taylor put this in the chat as well that they are doing a combined press conference, which I think we all kind of assumed at E3 it's going to be them and Bethesda. I think Xbox will go and then they'll have the Bethesda chunk. Like I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll make it still feel like a separate thing. Maybe for this year and then over time they kind of just integrate it so that's all just connected, but it'll be interesting to see. That will be a fucking banger of a conference. Like, the big reveal for Halo Infinite again, and like establishing, hey, it is coming out this year, even though they did say the last time. And then, I mean, they probably have some other good stuff, some other secrets.
You think we're getting that Halo thing? I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's
Hmm.
going to get pushed to next year. Hasn't it already
Wow.
gotten pushed?
I don't think so.
I'll look it up. Either way, I don't think we're getting it this year. Kirkland, you searching right now? Is that what I saw? Oh no, it's your TV. I saw the room get white, so I'll look up. Like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think Halo's coming this year.
Yeah, that's fair. That would really suck. I don't know what else they would have. They need something. I mean, they maybe have a couple other smaller games coming out. But
Yeah,
I
as
feel
of right
like
now, it still says
they really need
2021. But I just
But
remember
they
that
never
like
said a day, which is always troubling for sure.
yeah, I just remember it was like 3 weeks ago when they're like, this head creative on the team has left, and it's like, really? Like, I that's my prediction. I think maybe we'll see something from it, but they might be we're really excited for Halo and we want it to be perfect. So next year we bring you that experience. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess like it is Halo, but I just feel like because they had such a shitty opening, they almost need longer to build that hype again. You know, like I just don't know. Is like I
I
guess
think
so
it just
what?
needs to come out. I don't know, man. It's just been so long now.
I guess like
No.
June and then like July, August, September, October. I don't know. We'll see. That's my hard prediction. Doesn't come out this year.
I remember like years ago, it's like, oh, isn't it awesome? The next gen Halo's coming out, or sorry, the next gen Xbox is coming out with Halo. It's like a perfect pairing, man. Oof.
They've had
If only we knew.
nothing. They've had
Yeah.
the fucking Medium, which was just some weird ass horror game that no one liked.
Oh man. Well, anything else on this situation with Bethesda, Xbox exclusives, all that good stuff?
Excited for E3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's gonna be a
very
good time.
telling.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Summer Game Fest after we take this first ad break. So we'll be right back. Last few days ago, I got an ad break. We don't get to pick them. And it definitely shows because I got, hello, Denver. And I went, I don't live in Denver. So I don't know who that was targeted as.
You rocking those VPNs that put you over there or something? What's going on?
No,
there?
I never choose Denver. I'm always like Toronto, Los Angeles, New York, or Seattle. So Denver.
I got like an Atlanta one once. It's like your local, and I'm like, I'm a little far.
So we don't pick those, but those help support the channel. So thank you very much, and we'll be right back. And we're back talking about E3. Let's talk about something that's going to happen just a few days before E3. On June 10th, Jeff Keighley announced that we're going to have our Summer Game Fest kickoff. A few little notes that he gave out as classic, like, here's a picture, a bunch of icons of who's going to be there. I think they've had stuff with like Xbox, Sony, which is not going to be at E3, Montreal Games, Warner Brothers, stuff like that. Whole bunch of studios that you kind of know. I think it was Activision 2 is the other one that's not E3 that was on there. But he said that's going to be a kickoff. He says it's going to be one big show. It's about to be 2 hours. It's Thursday, 11 a.m. PST, which I just go, what the fuck are you doing? I just don't understand that aspect. Because even EST, it's like, that's only like 2 p.m. Like people are working on a Thursday. Like I don't get it. I never got it when E3 did on Mondays. I still don't. So he's doing that. And then he did say that it's going to be kind of a condensed thing because obviously last year they talked about it being messy and not really knowing what it was. Just felt like some announcements, and it sucked because I was really hyped for it. Like we did a cast when you're out of Manadale talking about, and like I liked it in theory, but the execution wasn't the greatest. And before I thought to you guys, I just feel like it's almost more of the same because like I don't like he's starting so close to E3 because people that are in just mainstream will just kind of merge the news together. And he even said that, but I just feel like he should have waited or done it earlier. And the other thing that I did not like was he's like, yeah, Ubisoft is a part of Summer Game Fest. They're having a conference. That's the conference that's also part of E3, but it's also Summer Games Fest. So it's like, that's weird. Like I don't that doesn't make sense. So it's like E3 announced, hey, we're doing this Ubisoft play, but then Jeff Keighley says, oh, that's our also part of Summer Game Fest. I feel like it being a bit more condensed could help, but I'm worried it's already a little bit messy. But I'm hoping for the best, and I'm always down for more gaming announcements, whatnot. But as of right now, I'm like, I feel like it's more of the same.
Yeah, I'm always down for announcements as well. I think hopefully he just gets better with the wording of it. That was to me the biggest issue where like even right now I'm up on the site and like the site is laid out really nicely and it's like it's like June 10th, here's this thing, June 12th, here's what's going on now. And so it's nice there, but I found that even last year it had a nice schedule like that, but the actual content wasn't really well. I don't know how to say this. I guess it wasn't really projected very well. You didn't really know what to expect, or he'd have like these different buzzwords for certain things, but it was kind of unclear what they meant. And you know, it's like a lot of the time it was just like a trailer for a thing, and then like people talking for an hour. Maybe he was like doing a Q&A or like had a music performance or something. And it's like, why is all this happening? It's like just Skate 3, like, or Skate 4 announcement. Like, why are we fucking around with all this other stuff? So hopefully it is less messy. But as you mentioned, the Ubisoft thing is really weird. Like, I don't understand why. Like, he just puts his tag on anything. So it does make it a bit confusing. I don't know what this kickoff thing is supposed to be either. I guess it's just like, yeah, there's Weezer's playing and there's going to be some announcements. Yeah, I guess I wonder what he's doing here, because a lot of this stuff is like midday kind of thing. So maybe he's like just targeting more for like people in the industry and like for press and stuff rather than fans, but then it like doesn't really come across that way. So I don't know.
Weezer.
It's a very puzzling combination of things, but I hope it goes smoothly. At least I don't think we'll have like because last year IGN also had like their summer game chill fest or whatever they called theirs, and then that had a lot of crossover too, and I didn't understand when it started or when it ended. It was just
No, IGN's just concerned that their staff might walk out any fucking day. So I think they got better things to worry about this year than we got to do games. Editorial staff, you want to do a games fest? You want
to party? Yeah,
yeah. And like even when you're talking about like Weezer, it's funny, but like I guess it's just like, I think if you want to build this brand, you do got to get the fans hyped. And that's where it's like, yeah, you can get the industry hyped, but I don't know. Like I said, 11 a.m. on a Thursday, that I just feel like people will see it in the newsfeed and they just scroll instead of being like, hey, and it's weird because like, I feel like he's done such a good job with the video game awards and every year getting new guests. Like he had fucking Christopher Nolan on there last year. Like he's getting new guests, announcement, and it's so pristine of like, this is the time. It's a sync. Like this is the time. This is when we start. There's going to be announcements. This is that. Sometimes the show doesn't run the greatest. I think sometimes they don't let the actual winners. And I hate when they do like the roll call of like, here's 10 winners. And they just like, they got to have some guy talk about, I don't know, something going on. So like the Video Games Awards isn't perfect, but it feels like that's like very nicely planned out and thought like, hey, we're going to, get people on board this. With this, I don't know. It just feels like it's just more like throwing it out there. I don't know if he just doesn't know how to maneuver with E3 around. I said this to Dylan where I wish we got this if E3 wasn't this year to see what it would be like. But I don't know, Kirklin, is this on your radar as far? Like, do you remember anything from Summer Game Fest last year?
I mean, I tuned in your guys' Out of Mana episode. You guys had a good breakdown of it. That was where they showed off like the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay and all that stuff. So that was like the most like, I mean, just basically what Dylan said. Like, it's just nice to see like game announcements and like gameplay and stuff like that. So that's always fun. That was always like my favorite part about E3 was just like seeing games. That's what it should be about in the bare bones. Just exposing it for fans and all that stuff. In my opinion, I think that's what these should be. And it was a great thing last year, especially just with like COVID, like being in the prime of it and a lot of people just not knowing what was going on. It was really awesome they had that event. But I don't really have much to add other than what you guys already said. I think you guys pretty much nailed it. Like I was reading through like the description of it. It's like, this is Ubisoft's event with some whatever his wording was on it. It was just kind of not clean, for lack of a better word, and just strange, especially since it is like isn't it the same weekend of E3?
2 days before.
2 days before. Okay, yeah. So that's a little
E3
strange to me.
The 12th, and his is on the June 10th.
I personally think if they went like, because what was what was last year's? I thought that was more in August or July or something like that, or is it still June?
Went the whole. It went. I don't know if it was.
Yeah,
I can't remember
it's
if it was
confusing because it's not like one thing, right? It's just like all sorts of announcements that are under this like header, right? So right now there's currently June 10th for the kickoff event, June 12th for the Ubisoft E3 Direct, June 16th for the Steam Next Fest, which is almost like a tongue twister to say that 5 times fast, and then July 22nd. So skips a month. July 22nd. There's the EA Play, so that's happening in late July this year, and it's under his thing rather than E3, and that's all that there's announced right now in terms of actual calendar dates.
And EA Play, I think, is also on a Thursday as well. And it's not a long weekend either. I looked at it, I was like, what the hell? Like, especially as like it break the fourth wall. Like, as somebody that wants to cover this and it could be big announcement that's to discuss, we can still talk about it later, but it just makes it so much easier for it to be like on a Friday, on the weekend, something like that.
Yeah.
So to be just randomly, I think it's Thursday during the day too. And yeah, the combined thing, it's like we did this last year and we're doing it again this year for October. DC fandom's happening, and that's like this whole day of DC doing all these announcements, right? And what we do with like we have GeekVerse and we Geek Ultimate Alliance, our podcast network, and we always announce that we're doing the same thing this year. Like, okay, together we're gonna do one show to cover all this news. Instead of be like, okay, well, we're gonna do a show on GeekVerse, they're gonna do a new show over there. It's the exact same show, but it's different feeds. And it's the same thing with this. Like the Summer Game Fest is gonna be streaming this. Well, yeah, it's just. And that's where I think if he wants to separate himself, if he went to Ubisoft and said, "Hey, I want to do something with you," and they said, "Oh, we're already doing some with E3," I think he should have went, maybe next year. I don't think he should have been like, "Well, could I have it a part of this thing too?" Especially because E3 got to announce it first. It feels like he's riding on their coattails. Even if Ubisoft agreed to him first or like at the same time, the fact that E3 got out there first, it feels like you're just kind of latching on to this. You're the little brother of this situation. So I wish he actually just said, nah, Ubi's not a part of this. They're at E3. Good for them. I got other great stuff to do, but no.
Yeah. It is that Ubisoft one is particularly puzzling, right? Because there's like Microsoft is a part of the Summer Game Fest thing, but their press conference isn't on like his calendar. So it's not like you could even go to Summer Game Fest as like your one-stop shop to watch all this stuff, because it's just like randomly selective, even though Microsoft is part of the Summer Game Fest. If you scroll down and they have like all these companies, which is great. They have pretty much everyone that except for Nintendo, as far as my eyes.
Yeah, that was weird.
But yeah, so it's weird. Like, why wouldn't he do one for Microsoft as well? Then I can just tune into the Summer Game Fest stream and watch everything all together. So I don't know. I guess there's a lot of conversations happening behind closed doors and whatnot. But I mean, there's a lot of big names here that I'm curious to see what they have. Like Warner Bros. Right now has what's that? It's called Gotham Knights, right?
They got Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, and Harry Potter. So three big games.
I hope we see. I mean, I really want to see Harry Potter. We're doing the retro, so I want to see that game and know when that comes out. But then Gotham, I think both those games got pushed, right? So
yeah,
they're not coming out this year anyway. But it'll be cool to see from those. And
Squad is 2023. So I think.
Oh my god! Wow, that's
they really were smart. They're like, yeah, we're gonna make sure we don't have any screw ups on that. But still, to show more like. Even in Squad, like they could, I don't know, because they haven't talked about if there's more members, so they could talk about that if they wanted to. They could hold off. Gotham Knights, like all they've really shown is a few images in that one trailer, and that was well received. So you can get more in it. You could show more villains. Harry Potter, we really haven't seen much of. So
we have not, no.
So I'm really excited for both those. I like obviously I Harry Potter's in my household, and then like Gotham Knights just looks like. Just what I want out of a Batman game that's like not Batman. So I think they got a lot of goodwill towards the thing. I will say you shared their website in the Discord. I still got to show. I love their logo though. I love those colors.
Yeah.
I love like the frizziness
Miami
of it. Like,
Vice.
Yeah, it's a great looking site, and in the events they're laid out nicely. But it's just like, what is Steam Next Fest? Is that just the Steam like Game Fest thing that they had last year where they have demos, or is there something different because it has a new name this year? So,
well, you and I talked about this on Man, where they didn't do that because we were like, when are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? And even this year, I was expecting to have a schedule. Next year, if they do this, Jeff Keighley needs to lock down these people and say, okay, August 20th, that's Warner Brothers, whatever showcase, or we're dropping a reveal. I know things can change, but this whole like, oh, we have a Summer Game Fest and things will just drop when let's say you don't build any anticipation then, because I think like you were talking about like Skate 4 just dropped. Imagine if the whole time, like he usually does, like let's say if the trailer's coming on Wednesday, on Monday he'll be like, hey, look out Wednesday, something's coming. But it's like, no, you should have stuff building like, oh, in 2 weeks we're getting a trailer. What could it be? It's from this company. Well, it could be this, it could be that. Like I feel like dates by themselves, like E3, Comic-Con, they build hype because you start talking about what it could be. Instead of if E3 just like happened, if it's just like, oh yeah, here's the Nintendo press conference like an hour before, it's like, okay, I guess. But like I don't know. It's just I hope next year he builds a schedule and here's all the events. This is when they're happening.
Maybe part of the kickoff is like laying out some more of it. Like maybe he does say, here's our big July event, here's our big August event, and then there's obviously other stuff in between, but maybe he'll give a little bit more semblance there. Maybe he'll even explain it, just like 2 minutes. If he can briefly explain what he's trying to do to like make it coherent this year, then
Maybe
boom, then we're good.
that's what he's doing right now. He's just like, well, fuck, Summer Game Fest is coming. I gotta get something ready for the kickoff, and then he'll announce some more dates on there. Because like the website looks beautiful, but like when you scroll down to like the dates, it just seems a little a little not much,
Listen,
which is
Jeff,
weird because there is a lot of like partners involved in this whole thing when you scroll down all the way down.
I'll show you my document. I got GV planned all the way from 2021. The rest of the year, these guys have seen it. Like, Jeff, just hit me up. I won't even take money. Just give us a little plug and just show me what you got. I'll be like, okay, this has to go here. This has to go here.
We need a leak for his stuff. None of these Starfield stupid Q1, Q4. We need a Summer Game Fest leak with. I want to see Jeff Keighley's, because I know he has one like you, and he's just not sharing all of it. I want to see that schedule.
It's probably all like paper, so he can't get hacked. It's just like his personal journal.
Yeah. And he did say that there'd be a minimum of 12, like, I don't know if he said world premieres, but at least reveals or something on this kickoff show. So I think we'll do like E3 that it's in the middle of the fucking day, but I think on the Thursday we will cover it Thursday night. We'll probably, because I know
is that on Thursday, that one?
It's on Thursday, yeah. So I know you're camping that weekend. I know Kirklin,
I am, but I will be around Thursday night. So
yeah, well,
I can join for that. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'll be around Thursday night then. Yeah.
Mark it on your calendar. Yeah,
like
Kirk, are you officially gone now for that weekend?
June 11th, like that weekend. June 11th is the Friday, and then.
Okay, no, good to know. Breaking fourth wall. It's me planning in my head, but yeah. So, but yeah, the Thursday we'll definitely do something, and then that's how I know me and Taylor will do some. I think we'll probably round up some guests or something like that too. If if it's just me and Taylor having some pizza, Jessica might have a baby here, so or it might just be the GB2, and we're gonna get fucking a whole day of just me and Taylor watching E3. That's gonna be a wild day.
Yeah, the polar opposites. You need me or Kirklin to act as the middleman and simmer you guys down a bit.
Clay, if you're in the chat, there's an open invite. E3, I might hit you up, but yeah, so we'll be doing some for that, and I'm excited. I'm always down to get hype. I know it's gonna be far off, but I want that 2016 PlayStation E3 again. I want that running around. I want all that good stuff. So I'm always ready to get hyped. That's what I want.
I feel like I've taken a bit of a shift in the last year or two, where like pretty much any game reveal thing I'm into. I don't like Jeff Keighley's weird ass schedule, and like how sometimes it feels like he's like, oh, here's an hour-long event, and then there's like one trailer and then bullshit for the other 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But like all of these, like there's been like PlayStation shows that people are shitting on, or Xbox ones where you're like, man, this is just garbage. No one wants any of these games. But I'm like, I love all of this. Like I think all of these look cool, or not all of them, but this is just exciting for me that there's so many cool games in the works. So obviously this is going to be a nice place, and hopefully this site gets a little bit more filled up in the calendar section. And as Kirklin alluded to, hopefully maybe ups that description from 6 words to like a little mini paragraph, so I can actually plan my life. But yeah, it is exciting. And I hope for the best, because Jeff Keighley, he's like the games press like rock star. I don't know what he's doing, but he's building this interesting brand.
Yeah, he could become, if he keeps playing it right, the gaming guy, which we don't really have that. Like you can't have the people in the video game industry, but you need somebody that's like the Johnny Carson. You need somebody that's like when he was before some controversy, like Chris Hardwick. You need something like, Chris Hardwick's the nerd guy who talks about Walking Dead and Nerdist and all this stuff. And like, if you could have him as the guy, and I think that's one thing that is smart. Like you and I have talked about, once Sean Lane's been gone from PS5, I think that's really hurt them, not having a guy to be like, hey, that's our leader. It's just these people talking. It's like, yeah, okay, this is your title.
Jim Ryan is just he's just not a personable guy. He's not someone you want to play games with.
100%. And it's just like, you need that. And if you can kind of get that, because I even feel like now the Game Awards, people now are really referring to like, oh, that one game of the year. And they're using it like singular. They're not talking about like other games. And that's what you want. You want to be the Oscar. You don't want to be the Golden Globes. You want to be the Oscar of games. And he's doing that. And yeah, I don't know why this feels so different, but I'm pulling for it. I'm excited. Give us some good stuff, Jeff. Do it up. So any other gaming news to shout out before we transition to some movie TV stuff?
I don't think so.
Boom, boom. Okay, so Dylan is going to be saying for the trailer talk and Marvel talk. So let's talk about this Marvel stuff right now. So this was a report that came out last week. So last week we talked about Ghost Rider. The rumor is he's going to be in Doctor Strange 2.
Ooh.
The kind of lead up is that they are going to be doing Midnight Suns. Some we talked about, I think probably around like almost Marvel Alliance 3, because that's when they are coming up a lot again. We were talking like, oh, when are they going to do this? And there was minor rumors like years ago that, oh, they're working on it. But now this was a full-on, okay, here's kind of the outline of what these rumors could be. It's kind of like C+ tier, so pretty good tier, but still, they're saying it's like a lineup of like Moon Knight, Blade, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Hannibal King, Hellstrom, and I think that's 6. There was one more, I think. Shit, I will go find
Punisher,
it.
Daredevil, something like that.
No, it was, who am I missing out of those bunch?
Morbius.
No, not Morbius.
Who'd you say?
Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade, Scarlet Witch, Hannibal King, what was
Blade. Did you say Blade?
No, I did say Blade, Hellstrom, Ghost Rider. I just actually forgot Ghost
There
Rider.
you go,
So
Ghost Rider.
either way, that was the rumored lineup, and then the idea is that Blackheart, who was a villain in Ghost Rider, he's gonna be a villain, and then they might lead to Mephisto's like a Thanos sort of deal. But that's sounding like one of the next big team ups and everything. I don't know why. The only thing that makes me question the scoop is I don't know why they only have one female on the team. I feel like they are been very conscious about that, especially we've talked about many times, like Elsa Bloodstone lately, they've been pushing a lot. So I feel like she'll find her way. But Kirklin, we talked about Ghost Rider last week. How do you feel about like if this is going to be, could they get this to like Avengers level? Because right now there's no rumors for Avengers 5. It's going to happen. But like right now we got like Fantastic Four coming. We have like these mini crossovers in Thor Ragnarok and Doctor Strange. Could Midnight Suns with these like more supernatural creepy characters get to the lengths of being like the next big franchise? Or do you think this is maybe more just, oh, it's going to stay a certain tier?
I think it'll be like one or maybe half notch down from the Avengers. I think it will be really popular because it is kind of like a fringe type thing. It's not your classic like Cap shield, Thor's hammer. Like those are just so iconic, like such iconic symbols. Whereas the Midnight Suns, like you got Ghost Rider's head. Yeah, exactly.
Moon Knight is fucking mentally unstable.
And I mean, again, I'm hoping it's very successful because I want it to be really good. I want to be interested in all these characters. So I do want it to be very, very popular. But I think even if it is super duper popular, it just will still be not quite to that level of like the classic Avengers team, because those are just, in my eyes, those are just so iconic. I feel like those will just live on. Like even like when I was younger and I was really into Spider-Man, like I wasn't really aware of anything else. I still knew like what Captain America's shield looked like. I still knew about Thor's hammer. Like even if I wasn't in on like the haps of what's going on with these characters, I still just knew who they were. I think if you showed me Elsa Bloodstone symbol or whatever the hell she is, just like, I don't know, she's a gun. I know. I only know her from Ultimate
She has like
Alliance.
an amulet, right? Maybe that would be hers. She has a cool amulet.
But yeah, I think even if it's
2 guns is maybe not the logo you want to go with right now.
2 shotguns.
Two shotguns.
Just lots of blood.
But yeah, I think best case scenario, they're like a notch or maybe half notch down from Avengers.
So All in the Game brings up a good point. He says they've got a track record and they should be able to build them up. But yeah, Avengers still have that iconography advantage. Here's my question though. Yes. Dylan, have you watched Falcon Winter Soldier?
No, I have not.
So do you have an idea of maybe what happened with Falcon in that show?
No idea.
Okay.
No,
So,
I have not heard a single spoiler.
Earmuffs.
You can spoil it for the fans. I'll watch it at some point in my life.
He may or may not be Captain America now. So, but the thing is,
it's almost like everyone in the world predicted that.
Yeah. But the thing is, so like you have him, but you are missing. We don't know about Thor, but you are missing Iron Man. The new Avengers might be missing some of that icon stats, all right? Like this Avengers 5. Like I could be wrong. Spider-Man could be in there. It could be Thor's back. But like, let's say there's no Thor. Let's say there's no Iron Man. You just got the new Cap, and it's like Captain Marvel, and it's like Shang-Chi and all this stuff. You might be missing some of those. Oh, look, that's just like you said, the shield, the pulse, everything like that. So I think there's a chance. And the good thing is, like, I think with everyone always says this, but like with Guardians being like the space weirdos, I think they can tap into like this is a different group. I do think with it maybe being a bit more on the horror side, it's just naturally harder because with with families and kids, like I feel like there's less of, hey, look, like I said, it's like, let's go see the vampire hunter, the guy that got his powers from the devil, and the guy who's split personality disorder. You know, like it is like a really oddball sort of deal, but I do wonder if it could reach that status without the Avengers having their heavy hitters. I don't know. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's funny you bring up the iconography. I'm thinking of like the Marvel's Avengers game, which just has like the hammers and the Hulk fist. Like it just has them all over the place. You know, like you're totally right. But I mean, to be fair, like, you know, Iron Man wasn't necessarily a big character or an icon. He was almost like a B level character before MCU and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, it just takes one performance or one sick movie to really build someone up as like to be in that status. I mean, it's hard to match up with Thor, but I think it's possible. I think the Midnight Suns, a movie. It's funny that I've kind of been out of the Marvel news cycle for the last year, but I feel like we were talking about this like it's almost like it was yesterday. You know, like we've been talking about this for a while. I guess so with these rumors. So let me go through it. So you said Ghost Rider would be introduced to Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And so this would be his second movie. He's been in some crossover stuff. Scarlet Witch obviously just had her whole thing. Moon Knight having his show, which is coming out this year, or is that next year?
Next year. Yeah, they're filming right now in Budapest, actually.
Oh, shout out to Budapest.
Yeah.
And then you said this should I know who this Hannibal guy is? I've never heard that guy.
You've seen him. He was the character. You're not gonna remember this all. He is the character that Ryan Reynolds played in Blade Trinity when we did that a long time ago. Yeah, that was his like Deadpool edition. He's like a detective, like some of the special op guys that get brought in. I legit and Hellstrom you've never seen before. He actually had a show last year on Marvel Hulu. This was before Feige got all the TV rights, and it came out not well reviewed, and it just got canceled right away. Those are the only two names that I don't believe for some reason. I just don't, and these could just be a roster they have an idea of. But and then you have Blade, who will be having his own movie probably before then too, which also like Mahershala Ali, big star, 2-time Academy Award winner, and plus like you're talking about like characters in their own movies. You have Benedict Cumberbatch, who will already have had a second Doctor Strange movie, and I still say this as far as after WandaVision, I feel like Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch, like her stock has just risen so much. Like there's so many people that like love and like stand that character or talk about, like Olsen is now, she's becoming like a top tier star for them. So I think star power they'll definitely have.
Yeah, I think it, as we just talked about, like they're gonna kind of pave the road before they drive down it. Those two characters that I'm not too sure on. Like I guess if we think back to the Avengers, like pretty much everyone except for, I guess two of them didn't have movies leading into that. Like Black Widow was introduced elsewhere. So like numbers wise, it kind of matches up if they do the same thing there. But yeah, it is different because it is like these kind of weird, obscure characters. But I mean, I don't know the backstory of the Hannibal guy or Hellstorm, but maybe they get introduced with Blade or
Hannibal for sure.
That Doctor Strange movie already sounds like it has so much going on. So maybe you don't introduce another one of these big characters in that one. It's hard. I don't have all the names in front of me, so it's hard to like remember them. But yeah, it sounds like that probably wouldn't be for like a couple of years or something like that anyway. With at least until after Moon Knight. And when is Blade coming out? When's that on the schedule?
They have no date. So right now their whole schedule.
Have they filmed any of it? Do you know?
They have what? Sorry.
Have they filmed anything for Blade?
No, they don't have a director. They were in the midst of direct. They have a screenwriter. She is writing on the script right now, but they are searching for a director right now. So the word is, phase 4 ends in 2023. There's 2 spots right now for dates that don't have movies. And they've said Fantastic Four is coming out in 2023. They haven't given it a date. And then there's one more. So the word that we've kind of figured out is it's one of 3 things. It's either Captain America 4, which I don't even know if you know what's happening, but Captain America 4 is happening now, like a movie.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. Deadpool or Blade. So that's one of those movies is going to probably take up that slot of like, it's an unknown date. And then phase 5 is going to kick off in 2024, which, oh my God, that's 3 years from now, but I'll be here talking about it. But like, I think it will be probably the next, like it'll be a big crossover in that phase, because at that point you would have had Strange 2, WandaVision, Blade, and Moon Knight all have their solo adventures and whatnot.
Is Hulk related to the Midnight Suns at all? For some reason I seem to remember like that being a thing. But
he's been in and out of it, so he could easily be, he or even like She-Hulk could be placed in there.
He could be your big like, oh, the kids know who Hulk is, kind of guy. He's been in the movies, and he's also just a household name outside of the MCU even. So maybe he's in there, and that like what else is he gonna do in the meantime? You know, go
Well,
do some science with the Fantastic Four.
yeah,
He's in
that's-
She-Hulk, so he's gonna be like co-leading
Okay.
with her right now. Yeah, so I don't think he's gonna die from that, but I think he will. I think either they're gonna find a way to write him off, or he's gonna revert back to like angry Hulk, and they're gonna find
Yeah.
some sort of villainous
Mhm.
route or something.
I was
We've
gonna
already
say
had his arc
he's
too.
just been so
Yeah.
changed now that it's weird to like put him, you know, in the iconic Hulk role.
Yeah, especially he doesn't feel like he'd be fit in with like this really dark underworld
No.
of vampires, and I really want Elsa. Like that's I
Yeah,
love
I want
Elsa from
Elsa.
Ultimate Alliance. Like that's the key. I think as you mentioned, Travis, like there's kind of a lack of diversity with that cast somewhat. But it would be nice, yeah, to get Elsa in there. She's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I really liked her character in there, and like her British accent or whatever. I think she would just have some fun one-liners and stuff on
Mhm.
screen.
Yeah.
All in the game says Blade won't be out before 2023, Deadpool 3, or like I said,
Before
Fantastic Four
2023.
Blade, or to the yeah. No, I agree because like the mystery date is 2023. The two dates are July and November. My theory is I think Fantastic Four will be November because how poetic they can end Phase 4 with the Fantastic Four. I think that's the route to
22?
go. 23.
Oh.
Yeah, they got to.
It's so hard for me to piece it all together now. I'm so out of it.
There is, if you Google search, there is like they have their classic like here's our roadmap. Like they did lay it
I'll
out
Google
again
that,
because
yeah.
they had a Disney like welcome back to the theater sort of deal, and
And
fanboy
is that like current? Like it's not already been out?
I
of
thought that
date?
was like pre-COVID when they handled the
no,
the
they
dates.
remember Kirk, when we did a cast a few weeks ago when they did a re-release of they said like now it's called the Marvels and it's
COVID-19
Oh,
updated
yes,
with a black
right,
background. Is
yes.
that the one we're talking about?
it might be, yeah. So like they updated a bunch of titles like Captain Marvel 2 now Dylan is called the Marvels because it's gonna be like her and Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau and stuff like that. I thought there was another funky title. I can't remember what there was, but and then like Wakanda, Black Panther's now Wakanda Forever, and that's
I
gonna
love
be
this
coming out.
Thor. I don't know what I guess just like the font or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the design for the title is really cool.
It's
Mhm.
looking spicy. Do they do 5 movies for the first time in 2023? Would it work? First of all, they could work, but like I don't think so all in the game. I think if you look at the schedule, it is just 4. Now there's gonna be all those Disney Plus series happening at the same time. So it's gonna be bombarded. Like next year is gonna be so much because they have all those Star Wars shows and the MCU shows. They're gonna be popping off. So good for Disney Plus because Disney Plus right now is at 103 subscribers. Netflix is at 200 million. So they're trying to catch them. And I think I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're gonna catch them, but they're gonna work hard to it. So no, I don't think you'll get 5. I think they'll stick to 4. If they didn't have the shows, then sure. And I'm not counting Sony. Sony doesn't fucking count. I don't care what they're doing, Morbius or Venom or whatnot. Like that I don't think 5 MCU movies. I think
Morbius.
4, 1 every quarter is good. I think that works. Spring, fall, summer, winter, done.
Yeah.
You know, like that's perfect. That's a nice little toss up right there. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, so that's Midnight Suns. So yeah, we're here in a roster. Obviously Doctor Strange right now, I think it's coming out a year from now if everything goes to plan. That's their big May movie. There's a lot of rumors and speculation about what's happening with that movie, so it's going to be very interesting. Check out Marvel Alliance. They just talked about some rumors, so yeah, check that out. We're going to talk about some trailers here because Dylan has seen these. I am very, very excited for this. Fear Street is coming out July 9th, same day as Black Widow, but luckily I have it off. So I'm going to watch Black Widow and then I watch this immediately. Fear Street is a, I almost called him, he's going to be mad. I almost said Stephen King, an R.L. Stein series. Never read it. I'm a massive Goosebumps fan, but I never read. The books were PG. The movies are going to be rated R. It's going to be a trilogy of movies happening July 9th and then every single week. The first movie is like 1994. The next one takes place in like 1986. And then the other one takes place in 1666. And it's all, I think, maybe one big story that's all connected. But yeah, it's going to be 3 movies, a trilogy of movies all coming out within a week of like 3 weeks of each other. What do you think about this, Dylan? I doubt you've heard of this series at all, but did this intrigue you as far as checking this out?
Yeah, I haven't heard of it, but it seems like something we've seen many times before. I like the concept, you know, have 3 movies back to back. It seems like something they would have coming out in October, but I feel
Mhm.
like Netflix, they don't care. Something's done, they just shove it out the door as soon as possible. But I think it's interesting to actually, I mean, one from like a business move. I mean, who unsubscribes from Netflix anyway? But like to keep people there week to week is a nice idea. I think I'll probably check these out, or at least I'll check out the first one and see if it's any good. But the idea of like these kind of just randomly a trilogy of horror movies that are coming out 1 week after another with different settings is like a novel idea. I think it's pretty interesting, and it's got like the trailer does not show very much at all. It's like each one of the 3 settings or time periods, as you mentioned, kind of has like a tiny little teaser, but it worked for me, and I want to check out the first one, so I'll give it a go for sure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a fun slasher time. Kirkland, did you see this trailer? And if you did, are you excited for this all? You gonna be checking these out, or is this a pass for you?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I thought it's just a really unique idea of having like 3 not even just horror movies, but just 3 movies that are like attached to each other, even though they're different time periods. I guess, yeah. For some reason, when I say time periods, I'm picturing like a big jump in time periods. Is that still the right word?
Well, one's a big jump because one goes to 1666, so that's a bit like to go from
Okay.
19.
For some reason, I thought I read that wrong. I thought that
No,
was because I definitely saw that, but I'm like, no, it must have been like 1966 or something.
I've never read the book, but what I assume is like the first 2 ones look like they're like kind of classic Halloween slashers.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're gonna like maybe play up like this killer dies and comes back, and maybe that's how we get back to 1666. It's like some spell or magic that like causes this killer to keep getting rebirthed or
Witches
something.
of Salem scene.
Yeah, something like that. Like I imagine when, because they said it, the tagline is 3 movies, 1 big story. You know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's unique. I'll probably check it out. Shay does not do like stressful movies or anything like that. I know. So I usually watch
They're
with my
playing some
dad.
Resident Evil, man. That's
She's not playing it with me. She's usually at work when I have those. But
Go in the barn. Go in the barn.
But yeah, like it depends. Like if she's off that weekend that it comes out, I doubt I'll be watching it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely interested, to say the least. It very much reminded me of just like Scream, or those classic like slasher type. When the one girl gets stabbed right at the beginning there, it's like, oh, I've seen this before, but that still happened pretty quick. So
yeah. I will say the first one, the review will probably come out like a days after, because we're not gonna put that over Black Widow. Black Widow's definitely gonna get the precedence. So if people are wondering when we get that review, we'll probably do like what we're doing this week with Army of the Dead, where we're gonna give everyone the weekend to watch it, and then on the Sunday we'll review it, drop on the Monday. Probably do the same thing. We'll review Black Widow, and then we'll get to this one because I think Black Widow just a tad bigger, just
You've been waiting so long.
We should have seen this movie 3 times by now, but a couple more months and it's out there. So
I'm not paying $40 for Black Widow, so I'll be there for the horror movie.
You can go drive-in. You could find a way to get into a drive-in, right?
True.
Yeah, there'll be a way. So, Dylan, you have to leave us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to, but I think, seeing how out of it I am with the MCU stuff, I don't think you guys want to hear my DC opinions. So I think this will be my leave here.
Did you enjoy the Snyder Cut, Dylan?
Yeah, my movie of the year for sure. It came out this year, or was that last year? I don't know.
It did come out this year.
Movie.
Yep. March it was. Well, thank you very much, sir, for joining for the game and stuff. It was good to have you on, and we will talk to you soon.
Of course, much love, my friends. Kirklin, I'll see you next week for some more Harry Potter action.
Heck yes.
Oh yeah.
Have fun, everyone. Bye.
Ridico.
I think it's ridiculous.
It is.
Such as ridico.
I said that's a recurring joke with me and Emily every time they said it, and I just say ridico because that's the way I am. We got a lot more news to talk about. We got a trailer to talk about. We got some DC news. Let's take an ad break right now, and we'll get all into that jazz. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So now it's just me and Kirkland for now. Dylan joined us.
The 2 of us.
I think the last time, so the only 2 times I can remember that you and I did 2 like a cast together was. See if you can name them. Let's see. I can think of 2.
I got Triple Frontier for sure. Slenderman review.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's a forgettable movie. So I still enjoyed, we went and saw it together. It was like us and probably 3 other people in the theater. Like opening night, not a good sign for that movie.
I still can't wait to do a commentary track because none of the other GeekVerse people have seen it, and I just want their reaction so bad. But I'm waiting until COVID's over because I want to do that one as a group. I want to do like.
It's one of those movies where like if I meet someone out in the world that has actually seen it, we like kind of bond because it's just like, oh, remember that scene? Because it is pretty rare.
Man? Yeah, you're like the girl who like got crazy and saw Slender Man.
Exactly. But But yeah, those you had one more that wasn't Slenderman. What was that?
We did the Spider-Man Far From Home first trailer
That's
reaction.
right.
Yeah, because we were
Yeah.
gonna do it as regular newscast, but that's when the fuckers they dropped the whole like it's a multiverse. So we're like, we gotta do a trailer, and we all planned to do it, but everyone kept dropping and dropping. But like, well, we may as well do it, and then we did it here in the hot ass room. So that's one thing I will say in the summer. I think even when COVID's over, we'll probably still always do like virtual casting, so like we can all have our own AC and the mics okay. Because like, man, that room fucking sucks over there, and
Getting smelly and just
yeah. And Taylor won't move his fucking computer, so his house is a no-go. But yeah, so did you watch this trailer for Snake Eyes?
I did. Yes, I did.
What's
It's
your
fun.
history with G.I. Joe?
I don't think I have much experience. I've
Mhm.
seen the live action movie. I don't know what year that came out.
Well, there's two.
Is that Channing Tatum? Is he in one?
It was he's in them both, but was he like the main character in the one you saw?
I can't even really remember, honestly.
Okay,
It's a
was The
forgettable
Rock
movie.
in the one you saw?
I don't think so. No,
Okay,
no
then
Rock.
you probably saw the first one, Rise
Yeah.
of the Cobra.
Yeah, okay, that's ringing some bells. It's not a strong ringing, but I remember. All I really remember is like the classic like GI Joe like villains. I
Mhm.
remember seeing a couple of them, and like I never really watched the cartoon too much. I probably saw it here and there, but yeah, pretty minimal. I know like the iconic like GI Joe, like
Oh yeah.
just like those types
Go,
of things.
go
But
kids.
yeah, exactly. And now I know, and knowing is half the battle. GI Joe. But yeah. But yeah, no, I watched the trailer. In a weird way, it kind of reminded me of Fast and Furious, just for how like action packed those movies are gotten.
Yeah.
But like all in all, I still really liked what I saw. Like the choreography looked really good.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of that actor, like the lead
Henry
guy.
Golding.
Yeah, he's amazing. Everything I've seen him in, I've really liked.
What
Crazy
did
Rich
you see him in?
Asians, Crazy Rich
Okay.
Asians. A Simple Favor.
My favorite. Yeah.
Oh, there's another one, but those two movies I really liked him in. So he's a handsome man. I'm excited to see him on screen as like a kick-ass role.
Did you ever see this Ghost movie that? Well, I guess I just did a spoiler. But did you ever see this movie with Amelia Clark that he did? It was like a rom-com.
No.
I'm gonna spoil it. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, spoiler.
So it's called like Last Christmas, and she's like this rundown, like just can't get it together. She's like working this job, blah blah blah, and she's like not looking for love, but she just a classic like down character who's just like, oh, I'm grumpy and stuff. And then she starts to meet Henry Golding, and they create a relationship and whatnot. But then it was revealed the big twist is, and it literally happens for like 5 minutes and the movie's over, that she got in like this car accident. She needed like a heart transplant, and she got Henry Golding's heart. So that's why she kept seeing this ghost of him, because she has this heart. Holy, it was.
That wasn't a Netflix movie, was it?
No, it came to the
Oh,
theaters. Yeah, it was. Yeah, It
Wow.
was the first movie I ever watched on HBO Max. He was good in The Gentleman. He'd make a good Namor. All in the Game. Yes, he would make a good Namor in the MCU. That would be fan. I actually never put that
It's
casting
good fan
together.
casting.
Yeah, I want that, or I want him to be the next Bond, because I think he'd be a great.
Oh
Bond.
yeah, no, he's suave. He's
Yeah, the ladies love him.
handsome. Yeah, no, 100%.
Ladies are all over him. But yeah, like so I never watched G.I. Joe as a kid or anything like that. I've watched the cartoons. It just feels like something I should like. And I own both those movies. I don't think we're gonna do a retro because I put in the chat and it was like crickets. I was like, you know what? I think we can skip this one, and which is fine because like we were busy this summer. But I was like, should we do this? It's only 2 movies, and maybe I might even do it solely because like I even started to watch G.I. Joe. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait. We might retro this, but like. So like I liked
I'll join you, honestly. If you're biting the bullet and doing solo, I'll promise you I will be there just to refresh my memory.
Taylor will join us too. So that's the thing. Like, there you go, fans. We might do. It's only 2 movies, and they're like they're fucking shitty good watches and stuff like that. So like I like them enough. I want to like G.I. Joe, but I guess with me, the only thing I was saying the Dylan forecast was like I'm worried that this movie is in July and all they released was like a 53-second teaser. Like. We have less than 2 months to go, and this movie's out, and they're dropping just 50-second trailers. It's like you got to go balls to the wall. Like maybe they just think that like Henry Golding in this movie will work, but I get why some fans are pissed because I don't know if you know much about Snake Eyes, but like he's a character that doesn't talk. You don't really see his face, and in this trailer, it's the exact opposite of that. But like that, I've been saying that since day one of like the second they cast Henry Golding in the main role. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get the snake
No,
eyes you
yeah.
want. So like you either have to do two things. You have to get served the shit sandwich, eat it and like it, and just go, okay, I'm going to watch this movie and hope to enjoy it, or not watch it. Because I think if you're this G.I. Joe hardcore, like diehard, I don't think it's going to follow what you want to. I think it's gonna be what they think would sell tickets, you know, and
No, 100%. And it's funny because, like I said, like I liked what I saw from this trailer, and it's probably because I just completely forgot that Snake Eyes was the guy that just didn't talk. You didn't see him, so like I was just attributing it as like a badass action movie with a handsome man and a badass samurai sword, and I'm like, I'm in. But then like again, if you are a fan of the GI Joe and you see, your character that's a mute and you don't ever see his face, just complete opposite, like you just said. I understand why that would deter some people.
And I didn't even know that I don't think you've seen her in anything, but Samara Weaving's in this, and she is just one of the best actresses in the world. She was in The Babysitter, she was in Ready or Not. I'm trying to think of something you've seen her in, but she's just a great actress. So Fanboy Clay says the creative Snake Eyes said the best direction they could have gone. That's why he can't get a job in comics anymore. Well, yeah, maybe, but like I don't know, is the dude also just happy that his creation's up there? Like I agree, but I don't know how you tackle G.I. Joe in general. Like that wouldn't be I don't have the key to that. There's so many other franchises where I go like, they need to do this. G.I. Joe, I'm like, I don't know what you do. I really don't know, because like I feel like you piss off the hardcores. But yeah, maybe you just got to get the mainstream audience. But it's tough in COVID to be like, is this going to be a hit? I don't know. It's like we don't even know what a hit is anymore, right? So we'll have to see. So she'd make a good Sue Storm, absolutely all in the game, because that's who I have her in my comic book draft. Oh, no, I don't, because Taylor Little Pecker stole her from me. He knew I was going to pick her, but she is like in my top 5, I think, actresses right now, but she'd be a great Sue Storm. Have you seen the clip going around of Amelia Blunt, holy fuck, Emily Blunt, about the Fantastic Four rumors?
Are you talking to me or all in the game?
Talking to you. All in the game can't
All
respond
in the
that
game.
quick.
I'm just saying.
Have you seen that?
The rumors of what? Say that one more
No,
time.
her responding to the Fantastic Four. So like last week we didn't talk about.
Oh,
but,
no,
like,
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, she did the interview being like, like superhero films aren't really for me. I'm not a part of that. I'll send you the clip. You have to check the GV Twitter memes group, because it's a clip where she's doing press for The Quiet Place 2, and the interviewer goes like, so Fantastic Four, and she's like I've had 3 interviews and everyone's asked me about this. Like, and she like looks like super annoyed by it. And like, I guess she's just like getting asked about it all the time. And it's funny because there's actually not been one single rumor about this. It's just been fans casting.
Yeah.
I'll send you the clip, but
that's funny.
yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it because I don't know. I do a fucking podcast and maybe it'll be good. And I like the people in it. So.
And I would probably watch it, honestly, because Shay, huge fan of the lead. She loves all those movies with him in there. Handsome guy. And again, it's because we both just don't really have attachment to G.I. Joe. So it's not like we're going into it pissed off that our favorite character is talking and, we see his face right away. It's just like handsome guy kicking ass. That is the selling point. And honestly, a lot of people, I mean, it's tough to say because the baseline of like movies and COVID and all that stuff, it's changed drastically. So I don't know, like if it will be successful. But I feel like if you're just seeing the trailer, and you're not a fan, or just not like a hardcore fan, you just are kind of aware what G.I. Joe is. You see someone kicking ass and he's handsome. It's like, okay, I'll see that movie. And that's that. Whereas like the hardcores will be like, no, I'm not touching that. It's look what they did to my boy, like that classic line. But
yeah, if you check your Twitter memes, I did send it to you, so you'll have that. So let's talk. We got a big chunk here. I think of DC. I will try to keep it all together. Yeah, so big chunk. So I was gonna throw up the image, but I can't because I've heard some people saying their Twitter accounts and whatnot, even YouTube stuff's been banned. So I put in the group chat. If not, I'll pull it up, but I won't show it on the stream. You've seen the image of the Riddler, right?
Okay, I thought that was like Garbage Man, basically, right? Because I swear I like saw the image of that. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then I think I saw someone had like, I don't know where I saw it, but like under his name, it was like Robot Man. And I'm like, I don't know who this is, but I'm excited to see him on screen for the first time. So that's the Riddler?
That's the Riddler, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So what happened was, look at this. Like I'm sending this to you in our just your my Facebook chat. Look at this image from the calendar as the Batman. Holy fuck.
It looks so good. Right?
So what happened was the calendar came out because obviously the movie was supposed to be out by now. So the calendar revealed all this stuff, or not all this stuff, but showed a few things. But yeah, Garbage Man or whatever, like the guy who's looking like the Zodiac Killer. That's what the Riddler's gonna look like, and that created like a big. I don't get it. Twitter's fucking dumb. It created like a big controversy of like he doesn't look like the Riddler, kind of like the Snake Eyes thing. Like he doesn't look like the Riddler. That's not my
Right.
Riddler. I guess my whole point is, and like Kirklin probably won't know this because I feel like you've maybe watched the Batman trailer once or twice. Maybe you haven't even watched it again since DC fandom. But as somebody that watches that trailer maybe once a week, it's my most anticipated movie probably since Endgame, to be honest, just because like this just looks like a Batman movie for me. I think it could be my favorite Batman movie of all time. That's saying a lot because I love Nolan. The opening of that trailer, and maybe Kirkland go watch again tonight. It's Riddler taping a guy, and when you see him, he's wearing this exact same stuff. So when people are like, "Why does he fucking look like that? Like he looks all weird and everything," it's just like he looked like that in the trailer. I don't understand how people didn't think this was gonna be. And some might be like, "Oh, this is the way like he's just hiding his identity, or he didn't want a DNA." But it's like I feel like he'd have that look several times, and so the fact that it was just like fucking like just revelation, people like that's what the Riddler looks like. I'm a god to in Zoolander. Like I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like he looked like that from the day we've seen him. So now we just get a better image of him. It's like, oh, he does look like that. And I like the look because here's excuse me, here's the thing. I've said this before. Matt Reeves is doing the Nolan style, whatever you take from that, but he's doing a realistic, down to earth, gritty Batman. Look at the Penguin. Look at Selena Kyle. That poster legitimately just says Selena Kyle. It doesn't say Catwoman. So I think for a fact the movie might end with her in the Catwoman costume, but there I think is a more than 50% chance she doesn't even get the Catwoman costume in this movie. They might just hold off to the next movie because they've said this is like her origin. So the poster or the calendar is just like her on a bike and it says Selena Kyle. So like they are going really down to earth. So the fact, like, how would this guy walk around with a bowler hat and like the green, like the big cane and the green suit? Like, if you're doing this type of world, I would get it if it is like kind of like Marvel, where sure it's in the real world, but we're getting really fantastical. Like, look at fucking new Captain America's costume. That is full and just like out loud, like I'm Captain America, I'm Falcon, and it fits this world. To me, it wouldn't fit that world, and it's a different character. I like it, and like people have shown like the comparisons of like, yeah, he looks like the Zodiac Killer and stuff like that. Matt Reeves said he will. I'm guessing you're saying she will not be Catwoman in this movie. I agree, Clay, and this is what you'll say though. Is like, she won't be Catwoman, but do you think that could be like the very end? Like she could get it like. Not even an end credit. I don't think they'll be like that, but do you think they even tease that? And I'll ask you the same question, Kurt. Like, do you think they even tease the costume, or do you think she's just full on Selena Kyle this movie? We don't see a costume at all.
They teased it in the trailer. Like as you were talking there, I kind of had it going.
Yeah,
here
but she like has like the.
You can see the cat ears though, right, with her toque thing.
Yeah, but that's not
whether that's an
full on
Easter
like
egg or not.
Leather, like whipping it. That just
It's
looks
a
like
cat burglar. Come on.
It is. It is. You know.
But yeah, no, and I feel like I kind of had to remind myself again. I'm not like you. I don't watch the trailer every week. I am excited to see it, but Batman isn't in my blood. I didn't grow up reading the comics like you did, so it's just there's that disconnect. there's different levels, to the Batman fandom. But I think I just completely forgot about that. I saw Riddler in the first place, and then when I saw the Trash Man or whatever you want to call it. And then that one photo, it might have been on Twitter or something, but it was like Robot Man, probably a meme. But I just took that. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, okay, that's the new character, I guess. I don't know, because in my mind, the Riddler is that guy with like the very over the top green suit with all the question marks everywhere and the cane. And in my mind, that's just what I liked when I was younger. We shit on that movie all the time, but like Jim Carrey's Riddler, like I loved that when I was a kid. I thought, I was young, so young and naive. I ate that up. I loved it. But again, when I rewatch the trailer and just get a feel of what this world is, this Batman universe is, it doesn't make sense to have that guy. You're totally right to have the bowler hat and everything. It would just completely stand out. And having him,
and it's so funny. He's like chasing after the Riddler. He's just fucking everything's dark, but he's bright as the fucking sun. Green.
Goes into a crowd. Oh, where is he? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, Garbage Man. He could blend in a little garbage. Bowler hat guy's not gonna blend in anywhere.
Yeah, and like so, like this. like this universe, it just seems so much darker. Again, Nolan's films were dark, but like especially when him just like duct taping that dude's face, like that's fucking gruesome.
Yeah.
So having a dude in a bowler hat like making just jokes and being over the top, I think it takes away from that fear factor that you get from someone in just like a more just like almost Chainsaw Massacre type like outfit, right? Like he looks like a serial killer, and I feel like
Oh yeah.
that's what they're going for. So like initial thoughts, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was Robot Man. I thought it was all that. Again, as you explained, kind of reminded me about what this world is. I had the trailer going again, just like getting a taste of what this is going to be. I am more on board with this, and I am excited to see it on the big screen. And I don't think, like, I think if we didn't talk about this when we got into the movie and I'm watching it and they're like, yeah, that's the Riddler, I'm like, what the fuck? No, it's not. But I'm like prepping myself, you know, I'm easing into it.
Well, in the game says Tommy Jones doing his Jim Carrey as Two-Face in the movie with a choice. I'm excited because we haven't got there. As if you're listening deep, I can give you a little preview to the charity stream. We're going to be doing a Batman and Robin commentary track, and I think it's going to be tons of fun because I don't think many of these guys have seen it in a very long time, if not since they're kids. And it's obviously notoriously one of the worst movies ever. But we're definitely before probably the Batman. We'll get to Batman Forever at some point because we're going to do commentary tracks for the Nolan movies. We're probably going to do one for Returns for Christmas. So we'll definitely do it because these guys love Jim Carrey. And they hired him to do what he does, and he did it. I can't be mad at Jim Carrey. I can't be mad at Warner Bros. Because Jim Carrey was the guy. That's exactly what you hired Jim Carrey to do. I just, as a Riddler fan, go, nope, not for me, you know. And I have to bring up to where I will find it because Maddie, check out, he's always on That for 9. He's a patron of ours. Go join our Patreon now because what I'm going to be doing in the future is before our newscasts, I'm going to be sending out a post and asking for questions. So his thoughts are the Riddler's face or slash mask looks a little weird, but at the same time, I think it totally works because I'm all for the creepy serial killer vibe he's going for. I think it'll really fit the world and tone of Matt Reeves' world. And yeah, because I feel like till we got the trailer, when we first got the few images of the Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker, everyone was like, I don't know about that.
Right.
That was kind of weird. And it's like, and then to be honest, that's become the look. Like, look at Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. That's more like that. Like, obviously, Jared Leto's Joker is nowhere near that. But I feel like since 2008, the Joker looking all gross and greasy hair and the big trench coat, that's like almost the iconic look.
Oh, yeah.
Now. So,
like this year for Halloween at work, people like had that Heath Ledger Joker. You know, like they had that.
Yep.
And that's just going to go on for a very long time because it's not the Joaquin Joker makeup that's the most popular. I really think it is that Heath Ledger one. Maybe it's just lazy. You don't have to be as precise with the makeup.
Now, am I saying a bunch of dudes are gonna be dressing up as this Riddler in nightclubs? No, I don't think this Riddler has that same kind of like cool appeal. Like it just because like he does look like a Zodiac kid. Like he literally, he looks like he's a dominatrix too. Because if you look at the picture over his mouth, have you seen the thing that's
it's
over
like
his
zipper,
mouth?
right?
Yeah. It looks like he wants Batman to fucking like harder, daddy. Like. So
just
I don't think
word. Yeah.
Yeah, like there might be a certain crowd, but I just feel like if you're a single female and you see two guys and you see the guy dressed up as Heath Ledger's Joker, or you see the guy dressed up as Paul Dano's Riddler, yeah, they're both fucked up, but you're definitely gonna go with the Joker guy over like who's walking around a nightclub with that whole getup on. And like my favorite thing about the Riddler look too though is like he has that whole getup on and then he has the glasses on top of it. Like he still needs the reading glasses. He didn't go get fucking contacts to complete this costume. No, he still has so you know what, he has the glasses. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't know why people got in a rut, but like you said, there's people maybe that just hadn't seen the trailer that much, so they forgot about Saw this one. Oh, why does he look like that? But I think you just gotta get used to it. I think every villain we see is gonna look like this. They're gonna and whether you like that, you don't. I do because I like Batman in a realistic world. I think it works well, especially for what they're doing if it's a detective movie. So
yeah, and I also feel like a lot of those people that are loud and up in arms about, oh, it's not my Riddler, he looks stupid. When they see the movie, they're gonna shut up and they're gonna completely forget that they said that. You know, they'll be like, oh my god,
zipper mouth.
Yeah. They're ordering it on Amazon for Halloween.
Yeah. fuck, they're out of zipper mouths. I needed to complete the costume. I actually can't
I'm calling
wait.
him Robot Man. I want to call him Zipper Mouth.
I can't wait to see the Halloween, like whatever Spirit Halloween stores when this movie comes out, and they're gonna have to sell this fucking Riddler costume. I think I gotta do it on the cast now. I really do. Like, I want to be fucking Zipper Man Riddler. You know? Oh,
Do you think they come with the glasses, or do you have to get that separate?
have to? You gotta come
Yeah.
with the glasses. Yeah, like that completes the set. You know, so. And especially because like Saw's out recently. Like when you watch the trailer, I love Saw. It's very Saw vibes as far as Riddler. So I'm so down for like creepy serial killer Riddler. I just put out the Saw retrospectives, and back in 2017, I was talking about like, oh man, I wish one day they do the Riddler like Jigsaw, and we're kind of getting that. So I'm very excited. I hope the movie sticks in March. We should have been like, in a perfect world, we'd be seeing this in like 2 months from now. But yeah, so I hope it sticks to March. I just need this movie in my blood veins so much, so I can't wait. But what I can wait for is this next topic, because we got to take another ad break.
Clean.
Yeah, we're back. That was a dirty one. That was just like boom, boom in there. But what I can actually wait for is this Batgirl movie. So this Batgirl movie, you won't have much to add, I don't think, on the directors, but I'll set the scene for you that back in 2017, this movie was announced before Justice League because Joss Whedon was going to be writing and directing it. Obviously, that didn't happen. So here we are, 4 years later, and we finally have 2 directors now, and I don't remember their names, so I'm not going to say them. I can't. I don't even think I know their first names, but the guys that directed Bad Boys for Life, the last Bad Boys, they actually are directing some episodes for Miss Marvel as well. This is going to be coming out. There's not a time frame for it, but the person that wrote Bumblebee and Birds of Prey, Christina Hodson, she's writing this, and
nice.
They're directing this. This is going to be a strictly HBO Max movie. I don't know what that will mean for Canada, but maybe just to Crave or VOD, who knows. But that's kind of the scene right now. The only thing I'm going to say is, because like I said, I don't know if you have too much, because you didn't see Bad Boys, right? The recent one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not
go that route.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm not excited for it, because like I feel like a lot of people like that movie, and I don't get it. I feel like it's a very fine generic action movie with some laughs that Will Smith like carries, but I don't think it warrants these two directing Batgirl. The HBO Max thing being exclusive, that's interesting, but I gotta see how it plays out, because I still think I'd like that to be in theaters, but we'll see. And then we don't know what universe it is. We have no details really at all. And I guess the other thing, I was surprised because they're so recently, Warner Brothers, in this whole big diverse kick as far as like, people of color or women and whatnot, but we have 2 dudes directing this. And this is the thing I'm completely fine with. Before someone says, oh, you're too woke, you need a female. I don't need a female directing this movie, but I've always said this before, that it's weird that it feels like right now Hollywood's doing this stuff where it's like, okay, we got to pair a black director with a black actor, stuff like that. And that's fine. I get it, because that's the way like you want to tell the best story, and maybe it suits that character. The only thing that I'm kind of bummed about is like, it feels like they're doing this diversity play, and then all of a sudden they have 2 dudes directing this. And I'm fine with that, but I just feel like you better soon, like, I want the Green Lantern movie to be directed by a woman. Then I want the next Batman or Superman movie to be a woman. That's the thing where it's like, I'm fine. Like I've always said, I want the best person for the job, but I just don't want it to be that. Like if you look at the DCEU, we've only had 2 female directors. With Will Smith wants a Fast Furious type franchise. Bad Boys was trying to be that. Yeah, and they did not do Fast and the Furious. I'll tell you that much. Fast Furious knows what they are. Bad Boys was trying to be super dramatic at times. He has like a mystery son in it, and like it's a whole thing. It's not a good movie in my opinion. But my whole thing is like, you look at the DCU, you've had Patty Jenkins, she directed Wonder Woman, and then Kathy Yan, she directed Birds of Prey. That's it. And then like with MCU, they've only had a few female directors, but like even Eternals, it's a big ensemble. So like there's not been that many. So I want kind of a flip around. I want them to do some of these things. So I don't know. I'm just not. And to me, the sex thing is not the whole, like, that's not why I'm excited. That was just a point I brought. I was like, okay, that's interesting. They've talked recently a lot about how they want a big diverse roster. And it's like, we got 2 dudes direct Batgirls. Like, okay, we'll see how that goes. But for me, it's just, I don't care about their movie that they made, so I'm not really plugged in this. But are you excited for a Batgirl movie, and how do you think about it not going to theaters and just being HBO Max as of right now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm fairly indifferent on it not going to theaters, or I mean, as long as I can see it in Canada, because we don't have
Yeah.
HBO Max. Then I'll like, maybe I'm just too like accustomed to this COVID era where I'm just used to not going to the theaters or anything like that. So I'm just like expecting it to be streamed. I like just Batgirl in general. I'm excited. I always thought she was a unique character.
Oh, but not
Never.
Batman.
What's that?
But not Batman. You know, not excited for
Oh, that's
Batman.
right.
But
No, yeah. No, fucking zipper mouth. Come on, get that out of here.
He's in this one too.
If he's in this one, then I'll be
He's gonna be the Thanos of the DCU now. Collecting
collecting
zippers.
all the zippers. Yeah.
Yeah. His whole face is gonna be to punch his face. You're gonna like zip, zip, zip.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like Batgirl, I want to see more of her. I want to know more about the character because I feel like I've seen her sprinkled here and there. Whether
Yeah.
which she must have appeared in the animated show, eh?
Yeah, she was in an animated show. She's
Yeah.
in the Arkham game, so she's kind of all been on tangential. She's
Yeah.
part of the Bat family.
So yeah, like I've seen her sprinkled here and there, but not really dove into the character. I think it would be really fun to actually get something dedicated to just her. And in regards to like the director choice or anything like that, I'm usually bad with that sort of thing. I just like, I don't know, I'm not too well versed on certain directors other than like the big honchos. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one, you know, because I've seen
That's why I
him
went
do
first.
Endgame or something.
I didn't want to set you up and you tell me about these directors, Kirklin.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, does it change anything at all with like the screenplay? That's right.
No.
That's what it is, right? Screenwriter being
Yeah. No, she's
Christina Hodson.
y-
Because you got
yes.
your female in there. Do you think she'll be like coordinating a lot with the like trying to give the female voice? I guess.
She's on the Harley Quinn show as well. Oh, that's good that she wrote for that. I still haven't watched it. I have to because Hines said it gets better because the first few episodes, like, it was fine, but Harley Quinn show, like, they go, like, it is full on radar. Like, she's swearing, motherfucker, this, that, like, talking about sex and all this stuff. But it felt like they were trying to be too cool. But Hines, who hosts DC Alliance, superhero discussions for our podcast network, he had said that it's like that early on, but then it kind of finds its footing. So 2 seasons are on HBO Max. I have to watch it because, like, I'm such a fan of them doing, like, Harley and Ivy as, like, a relationship now. Like,
yeah,
I love that. That's really fun. So that's good. She's on that. So the screenplay will stay the same, but anytime a director comes on, it for sure changes. Because like,
yeah,
I always say this, like, look at Endgame, where the directors say that, oh, in our mind, Cap went back to a parallel universe, where the writers go, well, in our mind, he just went back to the same universe and he's just staying in hiding. So you have the writers and directors that did the same project, but they have totally different ideas of what happened on the screen, right? So that's where I feel like she definitely has the script. It'll be there, but some things can change because obviously they get final cut, right? She might not be there on the set that day when they're filming. So,
right.
But she does have, I love Bumblebee and I love Birds of Prey. So and she's writing The Flash too, which is starting to film. So
nice. Yeah. I like you just said, I love Bumblebee and I love Birds of Prey. So that's exciting news. Sorry, these two directors, they've done Bad Boys for Life, and then was there another one you
done
mentioned?
some other ones I've never seen, and then they're directing some episodes of Miss Marvel as well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Which I'll be that guy. Like, it's just kind of funny that DC is making a project. Kirklin knows where I'm going, but they're making a project about a young superhero, and Warner Brothers looks around. They're like, who else is doing like a young superhero female right now? Oh, these two guys. Should we get someone like them? No, let's just get them. It's just like Joss Whedon. Like, we want to make an Avengers movie. We got to get someone like Joss Whedon. No, let's just get Joss Whedon. Like, it should. I don't think that's it. I'm sure these guys are talented guys. I mean talented enough as far as their work I don't like so far. But maybe I'll see Miss Marvel turn around. But that's hard for me to judge because whether you like it or not, I kind of hold that standard to Feige. I think Feige creates the plan. He gets the best people to execute it. So, like, even if I like those episodes, I don't know if I'll go like, oh, they did a really good job. So we'll see. But also, it's so funny because people share the sentiment all over Twitter today. It was just like people weren't getting excited because is this movie actually going to even happen? You know, like how many DC movies have, and that's a sad place where it's like I still get excited for this stuff. I still get, oh, we're doing this, but like there's some other things like I was like shared my opinion, but then all the other opinions I saw was like, yeah, talk to me when they're on set filming, and it's like, yeah, like you're right. Like I can't say you're wrong. You know, like it's the problem of like. I hope we're out of this age, and I guess we're not even gonna talk about in the news that much. Go back to DC Alliance, Clay and Travis talked about, but Warner Brothers got bought out this week. They got bought by another company. AT&T sold Warner Brothers and or Warner Media and HBO Max and all this stuff. Discovery. So all people do like the TLC network and stuff, they bought it. So they're gonna have, obviously the contracts have to be signed, but they're gonna have new runners. So in the next year and a half, we're gonna see a lot of changes. And I hope, I'm just being optimistic that they're all for the better. I don't know what they're going to be, but hopefully this new company will be better than what AT&T was doing. And even then, I got some good movies AT&T, but yeah, they have a new owners now, Warner Media. So we'll see what happens. So my final note here that I had was just a small, quick one. I think you may have seen the artwork, but it was called Batman the Caped Crusader. Have you seen the artwork for that? If not, do a quick Google, because this artwork, oh my goodness, talk about giving someone a stiffy. This was so damn good. I love it. I love the look of Batman, the cowl. It has this noir feel.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is an animated series that's going to be on Cartoon Network and HBO Max. It's being produced by Bruce Timm, who did the original Batman the animated series. Now, he's had some like not so great films lately, but I'm going to go, okay, let's hope he finds a way to recapture the glory. It's going to be produced by him, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves, which I think is a really stellar lineup. So I'm really excited, and I think that I just by the art, we know nothing. It just says it's going to tell different mythological tales or a whole mythology as far as the Batman character, but just that look as far as what he looks like, I'm just super excited. I love J.J. Abrams as a producer. I like him as director. I love him as director too, barring Rise of Skywalker. I love that Matt Reeves now, like, he's doing the Batman. He's doing that Gotham PD show, and now he's doing this. I love that anything Batman, Matt Reeves is like, yeah, I'll produce. I'll be a part of it. Like, I want that. I want the guy, like, I love Nolan, but Nolan was like, hey, I made my 3 movies and I'm done. I love that Matt Reeves seems to be the guy that's like, hey, anything that's Batman, I want to be on fucking board. And I don't know if this will like connect. I don't think it's going to connect to his movies, but I just like the idea of, I like that talent. And so far from the imagery, I really like what's going on there. So
Yeah, that poster just like gives me chills, man.
yeah.
Like, oh, I love just like how dark it is with the moonlight in the back, and just it very much looks like that classic animated like nostalgia
He's
memories.
even holding the cape too. If people put the side by side, like in that one, it's like red and he holds the cape, but
so that's incredibly hype. And then just like those names that you listed, J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Bruce Timm.
Yeah, he's probably the original.
Too familiar with Bruce
series.
Timm, but yeah, that's pretty awesome. So HBO Max though, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do when it comes here?
I think that one will be on Crave. I really do that one. Okay. I think that's when like lots of we talked about this last week, like the CW shows and DC TV, we don't really review, but I think this is one, if it gets at hype, we will do like weekly reviews for, because I think it's gonna be hype. I think when Green Lantern comes out, we'll probably do that too. And then if we like Peacemaker and in Suicide Squad, the HBO Max is doing a Peacemaker show. So there are some DC shows we're going to do. We're just waiting for the ones that get to those big levels. But Fanboy Clay says, should Kevin Conroy return? I take him to return every time. I know some people always say like, oh, let's get a new Batman in there. He's the guy Kirklin that does the games. He did the original Batman animated series. He's like the Batman voice. In my opinion, like, it might sound bad, but I'm just like, let him go till he dies. Like, and not in a bad way, but just like, he's just so good. Like, use him while you can. And he's not like James Earl Jones, where James Earl Jones, when he does Darth Vader now, he sounds old. You listen to and you so unless they're really like, we want this to be a distinct younger Batman, then sure. I don't want Jason O'Mara. I think you might be a fan, Clay. I know Hines is. He's the voice in the previous DC animated universe movies. I did not like him at all. And I really like Jason O'Mara as an actor. I did not like him. So I'm down for him to come back, but I want just a good voice. So if it's a new one, whatever.
Yeah.
All in the Game says it's a great trip, but Warner Brothers DC going back to Batman Superman yet again with animated shows. Are they where they own other characters?
Great trio, not trip.
Trio. Yeah. What do you think about that? What do you think? Because that was another pushback this week that they announced. I guess I forgot to mention they announced a Superman show, but they put out on Front Street that said this one's more aimed for kids, but it's Superman and then Batman. Do you get that same sense of like, oh, they're going back to what they've been doing the last 40 years?
I mean, like, not really personally. It's definitely a fair like observation and a fair point for sure. Because there is a lot of really interesting characters that if I didn't play like the Arkham games, I wouldn't even know that they're in DC. Luckily, in the Arkham games, they touch a lot of those like side characters and different villains and stuff. So I got to get exposed to a lot of DC stuff. But me just being like a super casual when it comes to DC stuff, I'm totally okay with it. Just because, like, yeah, I grew up. Spider-Man was my guy, but Batman was always there. Like I always thought he was so awesome. So
Your story's changing. I feel like at first
What?
you made it sound like earlier in this cast that Batman was just kind of there in your child, but now he's awesome. He's always been there. You know.
well, there's
What is
levels,
it,
right?
sir? Yeah, I know.
Spider-Man's always the number one, but I
Oh, yeah.
dressed up as Batman a few times in Halloween. I love those like '89 Batmans and all those ones. So
Well, oh, go ahead.
I think it's just like because I have those nostalgic memories of being a kid and just always seeing Batman. If I see what's her name, the magician chick, Zatanna. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now as I'm an adult, I find her really interesting and I can't wait to
Oh,
see her
yeah?
for the first time in live action. Yeah. It's like Spider-Man was always there and then Zatanna. No.
Zatanna, fuck, give me Zatanna. Look, she's wearing a one piece. She's a
So, like,
magician.
yeah, but like if I was a kid, I feel like that would just be lame. Like I just want like the main Batman because that's just, I don't know, more iconic. I don't know. I'm super biased opinion, obviously, but I'm totally okay with it just being Batman. But definitely a fair point on the game there.
Yeah, and I'm also the worst person to ask because Batman is like that. Legitimately, Batman was my first word. I've always said this before that yes, I'm more of a Marvel guy than I am DC, but then I'm more of a Batman guy than I am Marvel. If someone said, "Hey, you can either only have Batman or Marvel," I'm sorry, I love you, Marvel, but I give you the boot because I love the world. I love the Bat family. Like Selena Kyle and Dick Grayson are also in my top 10 for favorite characters. Like I love Batman so much. So for me, like I'm never gonna say no to Batman. Clay bugs me about that all the time in the GA chat, but I still do want other things, and that's why it's like. And I'm not throwing this on you all in the game. It's all about like perspective, but I think there was a bit too much like red flag waving because we still have an Aquaman 2 happening. We have Flash happening. We have a Shazam 2 happening. We have Zatanna in the works. Now, okay, you can go, those movies might not happen. That's true, but let's just say if they do. You got Zatanna in the works. You have, I think I said Black Adam already, like I said. So you have like 5 to 6 other characters that are happening. I want them to keep going. I want them, they've talked about Blue Beetle. I want Batman and other things. I'm not the guy that's going to say, I just want Batman stuff, but I think them doing an animated show, it's been a long time. Like you could count Young Justice, but he's just in that. There's a Batman kids show that you could count, but no. I think the last time was Beware the Batman, which I didn't really like. And so it's been quite a while since Batman got his own solo animated series. And I think with those names, they got a voice to it. So I don't think it's time to wave the red flag. Now, if let's say all those movies come out and then they're just doing Batman and Superman stuff and we don't hear anything else about the other ones, then fine. And I get it. Like DC's been saying for years they're making a Green Lantern movie and they haven't. So I get why DC fans are like, hey, we want to change up. But it's just, unfortunately, too, at the end of the day, for you guys, is that like Batman's the cash cow. You know, like he's the...
Yeah.
He writes those checks. You know, he built that house, as the Lego Batman movie says. Like, I love when they're showing the credits and it's like Warner Brothers and he's like, the house that Batman built. And it's like, it is kind of true. Like, Batman's still the guy. And then Fanboy Clay says he got used to Amara, but wants Bruce Greenberg to come back as Batman. I would be down for Bruce. The 2 ones that I would throw is, I can't remember who does it, unless it is Bruce, but you may know, Clay, who does it in Justice League, the New Frontier, that one. But also I would love Peter Weller to come back. He did in the Dark Knight Returns and I really liked him. But yeah, there's no date on this. There's no like more synopsis. So who knows? I hope the next time we hear about it, it's like a trailer and it's like coming soon. But the artwork alone and the names, I'm there and gets me excited. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. And like also with like, unfortunately, like the last few DC stuff hasn't been the most like well received 100%, like especially to the level of MCU or anything like that. So maybe they're just like, well, we know everybody likes Batman, so let's just run with that. That's definitely like a executive point of view looking at it, but I mean, those are the guys that make the decisions at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and that's a tough thing because Birds of Prey was really well reviewed, but didn't do amazing at the box office. Justice League, we don't know, but that was still relatively well reviewed. Joker was like controversial, but it still made $1 billion. But again, Batman product, right? Like Batman is adjacent to Joker. Like it's pretty much the same thing. Jeremy Sisto was in New Frontier. Yes, I really like Jeremy Sisto. He had like a really unique voice for it. I think he only did it once, so I would very much like that if it wasn't Kevin Conroy. So we'll see how Jensen Ackles does in the Long Halloween one. But yeah, so that's our news. Unless you got something to shout out, anything on your noggin?
Did you see the Resident Evil trailer? Do you have any interest in that movie?
Not all of that. No, I've never watched a single one of those animated movies, but the fact that it's
No.
on Netflix made me think, I might,
Yeah.
because I think the reason why I never checked out the movies too much, because someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like those always centered on the parts of Resident Evil I don't like. The whole like we're SWAT and we got big guns and we're fighting all the zombie
Yeah.
monsters. Like I like scary house, get like what Resident Evil 7 was. Like I like that type of horror. Where, of course, there's zombie, there's Mr. X, but it's like I want the more low-key horror where it's like at the finale is where okay, you're gonna fight all the monsters and stuff. But like it's not a big spoiler, but like Resident Evil 7, it gets more into like as you play along, like more okay creatures, but I think they use the right amount where I think those like I think even the first 30 seconds, like a helicopter crashes and they're like running for their lives. And it's like, I don't know, but did you watch the whole thing?
The whole trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like a 6.5 out of 10 excitement level probably.
Oh,
like
that's not great.
it's not great, but like you mentioned, it's Netflix, so it's pretty easy to just throw on, one night. I like the world and the characters enough to be interested in. But and like the animation looked good. I like anime and all that stuff, but I definitely agree with you. Like the story elements is, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna put this on and be like kind of excited for it. Like I said, 6 maybe out of 10, and then I'll just like end up falling asleep or something, and then
Yeah.
won't be hyped enough to put it back on. But who knows? Maybe there's some really good action scenes. We didn't see too much of that in the trailer, but it's fun to see some like iconic characters on screen.
And I remember, I think the date too was coming out on a time where it's like, oh, that's like something like Big Alice is also coming out too. But yeah, I might check it out depending on word of mouth. That's kind of where I am on that one, So
Yeah, that's fair for sure.
yeah. Well, we did it. We talked about a lot of topics. We actually almost hit in 2 hours here. I was surprised, but we talked a lot about E3 and Starfield and Zipperman. So unfortunately, Jessica and Taylor are not going to get that joke, but they'll figure it out. They got to listen to the cast. So
Exactly.
the CG movies all connect. I think that's just a continuation of the others.
Must be Resident Evil he's talking about.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So
It does, yeah.
That's probably why I'm not going to be on board too much, because that sounds like that might be a lot of homework.
Hopefully they like fill in the gaps easy enough for just a first time viewer. I'm sure they'll do that for sure, but because it definitely seemed like a lot of stuff was going on where I kind of should have been in the loop. But yeah, it's good to know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into this. Like I said, we'll be having lots of upcoming details, but June 5th, we're going to be doing a very fun charity stream for the PCRF. I got to get used to saying that. There's always new acronyms, but we're going to be doing that, and that's going to be tons of fun. But yes, thank you for joining. And when you hear from us next, I promise you, not be boring.
Peace.
Now, does Kirklin know how to end the broadcast? That's the exciting